up. Hawthorn plays host to the unbeaten Western Bulldogs at Aurora Stadium. Now for the latest from ladbrokes.com.au, here's Roger Aldridge.
Thanks, Hutto. Just how far have the Bulldogs come under Luke Beveridge? One feels we're about to find out. The Hawks are essentially the toughest opposition around. The Hawks on the rebound in Launceston, well, that's another level. And it's reflected in the market too, with the reigning premiers at black caviar type odds. The line is the really interesting one here. Nobody expects the Dogs to win, but how close can they get? Currently, that line is a little north of 8 goals. Don't forget, if you take a head-to-head bet on either side and they kick the first goal and lose, we'll give you cash back up to $100. Check out all our markets on every match at ladbrokes.com.au. And remember, please gamble responsibly.
This program brought to you by ladbrokes.com.au. Bet better. Telstra, we love the footy. NAB's Footify Fanshake. Choose a rival, set a pledge and fanshake on it. And Harvey Norman. Shop with confidence online, mobile and at your local store.
Good afternoon and welcome to a very chilly Launceston in Tasmania as we build up to the big game between the Hawks and the Western Bulldogs. Here come the Hawks onto the ground here at Aurora Stadium, led by their skipper Luke Hodge, as I welcome Danny Frawley, St Kilda legend, to the coverage. And Spud, it's not only chilly, it's a little bit windy as well. The batters aren't holding up too well.
No, a little bit windy, Jono. Really looking forward to this contest, and there's a lot of splash of pink, and Barry Hall will be all over it later on, but looking forward to this contest. Not very often we get to see Hawthorn after a loss. They'll obviously be very keen to win down here at their second home. There's no doubt Luke Beveridge knows a lot about them, and he's started the season extremely well. The way he's coaching is absolutely outstanding. Really looking forward to this contest.
And as you give the Bulldogs a realistic chance today in today's game, they were great last week at the MCG against the Tigers. Their pressure really did hold up.
No, look, I think they've got a great chance. I think it's all about not who's in, who's out. It's how they go about. And I think the facts are that the Bulldogs have been absolutely outstanding, not only in their 2 games so far this year, through the NAB Challenge Series as well, Jono. They're playing for each other. They're playing for the coach. They've got a really good start to the season. But they're going to get their audit today, let's face it. They're playing the best team in the competition. They're going to have a real audit to see where their style of play and how they're going individually and, more importantly, as a team.
One player who likes playing against the Western Bulldogs is Jared Roughead. He's got better and better as the years have gone on, flexibility in his game. But his last 3 games against the Bulldogs, he's been able to kick multiple goals. He's kicked 2, he's kicked 3, and then last time they played, he kicked a big bag of 6.
The thing I like about Roughead, you can spoil the ball, but he's still in the contest. He can kick them from anywhere. For a guy that's 6'4" in the old, I've never seen someone as athletic as him, Jono. The way he can jump at the high ball, then be cat-like at the ground level and snap the ball over his shoulder. So he's an outstanding player, and is one that obviously Luke Beveridge would have spent a lot of sleepless nights this week over.
Oh, certainly. There's a number of players in the Hawks lineup that would cause you sleepless nights. But here come the Bulldogs. Robert Murphy as skipper, really calming influence over the group, Spud.
Well, you've played with Robert Murphy, absolute star, great leader, and that's what you want. He talks the talk, but he walks the walk, and I think that's the most important thing about Robbie Murphy. They get behind him, and they're playing for him, so I think it's a really good appointment, Rob Murphy.
And the player next to him there, number 46, Lin Jong, he's really grown as a player. His VFL Grand Final game last year was sensational. His first 2 this year have been brilliant.
Well, the thing about Lukey Beveridge, he's not afraid to put him in the middle, put him where the action is, and, the first game he had the most inside 50s, at 8 inside 50s, and he can do a job defensively, we know, but now he's been taught to win the ball and use the ball.
Well, let's talk to the man himself, the coach of the Western Bulldogs, Luke Beveridge. Bevo, thanks for joining us. A few changes today. Bont's out as a late withdrawal. Matty Boyd, Easton Wood out of the lineup today.
Yeah, we've lost some personnel in our back end. Some opportunities now for Nathan and Kobe and Lucas, so they'll come in and they'll play well for us.
You really are building your own recipe in some ways down at the club. You've got the experience from the Pies and the Hawks. Now you're just adding a few herbs and spices on top to the way you want the Bulldogs to play. Yeah,
well, I mean, it's a credit to the boys. We've tried to fit everything we're doing around them, and every weekend's an exploration, and it's a chance for us to establish some consistency today and see how we go.
You're going to get a good audit today, aren't you, Luke, about playing the best team in the competition, but the pressure, I've been really impressed with your pressure in the first 2 rounds. Is that what you're looking for today?
Yeah, it's crucial. I mean, if it's the hallmark of what you do and everything branches off that, then that's brilliant. And we need to do that. I mean, we know that the Hawks are elite with their skills and their kicking and handball game. So we need to pressure that, and hopefully we can get a bit going back our way.
Rough head on rough head, or will it be Talia?
They'll mix it up. Yeah, they'll mix it up. They'll share some time on Ruffy and the opposition rucks.
Well, Bevo, thanks very much for your time pre-game, mate. All the very best. Hope you get the 4 points.
Thanks, John.
Good on you, Bevo. Good boy.
Well done. Well, Barry Hall is here with us as well this afternoon. He was lucky enough to catch up with the coach of the Hawks, Alistair Clarkson, a little bit earlier on.
Well, Luke, coming up against your former right-hand man, Luke Beveridge. Do you think they'll influence today's game at all in any way, shape or form?
Oh, he knows pretty well, Baz.
Yeah.
I dare say he'll have a couple of tricks up his sleeve, but it's 22 hours against 22 of theirs, and hopefully, after the disappointment of last week's game, that we come out a bit stronger this week and hopefully get a victory.
And on a negative note, Hill's out of the side. That's a big blow to us.
Yeah, listen, he just didn't quite come up. We're pretty mindful of concussions with our players, and just wanted to make sure that he's absolutely cherry ripe. So he'll hopefully be right by the end of next week.
A real positive note and a good news story is Brendan Whitecross into the side. You must love having him back.
Yeah, he's missed a lot of footy, and he's been a real rock around our footy club whilst he's been through that injury turmoil, and he gets a chance today, and cracking day, and our players are really looking forward to playing with him again. It's been 18 months since he's had a crack, so really exciting for our club that he's running out again.
What about Jordan Lewis? He's just getting better with age, more and more consistent, but he's a real A-grader now.
Yeah, listen, he's played some really good footy for the 10 years he's been in our club, but probably over the last 18 months he's really stepped up his game another level, and he started this season particularly well too. So we're hopeful that he can continue to play good footy and have 21 mates with him today.
And look at the doggies; they've been pretty good in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, they've been outstanding, and even their NAB Cup form was really good too. And full credit. It doesn't surprise us. We know Bevo's qualities as a coach, and we also know Rob Murphy's qualities as a person, as a captain as well. So, those 2 changes for their club have been first class, and no surprise that they've got a fair amount of spirit in their club at the minute.
Good luck. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Baz. Cheers, mate.
Well, the Hawks and the Dogs, they're both ready to go. This big game at Aurora Stadium is not too far away. Spud's up and about, so am I. Anthony Hudson will call all the action. Stay with us. Back shortly.
Beautiful day here at Aurora Stadium, and Bulldogs fans watching on. You can see there's plenty have made the journey down and hoping that they can challenge this Hawthorn lineup as we're set for round 3 action shortly. And what a strong lineup it is. Brad Hill left out of the side after some concussion last week. Billy Hartung gets his chance. He'll start on the field. Anderson is the sub. Of course, plenty of experience returning with Gibson and Mitchell back into the team. And sadly for the Western Bulldogs, no Bontempelli. Boyd also withdrawing over the weekend. So Rovat and Stevens gets their opportunity. Brett Goods will be the sub this afternoon as the 2 skippers meet in the middle, Luke Hodge and Robert Murphy. And hasn't Robert Murphy just thrived on the captaincy? Game number 274. He's had to wait a while to become the official leader of the club, but he's in outstanding form in this young Bulldogs lineup, looking to make it 3 in a row. And Robert Murphy's won the toss. He's done the right thing. He's kicking with the breeze, and it's quite considerable down there, Barry Hall. Welcome again, mate.
Thanks, Hutto. Yeah, well, it is a bit blustery with the wind, but the sun's out, so let's hope that stays out. But it's also a really big day for the Cancer Council of Tasmania. Really big day. You'll see a lot of pink in the crowd, and I've actually got into the spirit myself. I've got the pink socks on, so it's a really big issue. Obviously, cancer, most people have been touched by it, unfortunately. We're here to raise awareness and obviously raise a bit of money at the end of the day. So there's 50 people a week in Tasmania alone who get diagnosed every week, so that's a terrible thing. But I need a bit of fashion advice upstairs. I've donned on the pink socks, and I've seen what Brad Johnson wore to the airport. He's probably the best bloke to ask about fashion. So I want to ask him, sock tucked in or sock tucked out?
Depends if you rode your bike here, Baz, or not, mate. That'd determine that. That's what I used to do when I was about the ages of 6 to 10, I reckon, riding to primary school. But no, it is a great thing, Baz. You're spot on. The Cancer Council of Tasmania, and Spud, it is all about, digging deep in these situations and raising as much money as possible.
No, you're right, John. I think it's outstanding from the Hawthorn Football Club to be able to take this on board, and really looking forward to a lot of the matchups in this game of football. Will we have roughhead on roughhead, the cousins from each other? So we know Jared is a very, very good player. Will he be playing on his younger cousin Jordan? So that's what we see. If not, it'll be Talia. It'll be interesting to see whether Lukey Beveridge, former Hawthorn assistant coach, whether he nails one of the midfielders in Hodge or Mitchell with Mitch Wallace. So we'll soon see who he thinks the most important player in the Hawthorn team is.
Tactically, it'll be interesting as well whether the opposition going into the breeze, whether they, with the side going with it, they drop a number back, get that +1 to allow things maybe a couple of players back and try and open up their forward end to slingshot through.
Brad Johnson, Danny Frawley with you this afternoon. I imagine both of you would be selecting Hawthorn to win.
Yeah, Bontempelli's a really big out.
It is.
Hutto, but I don't think it'll worry Luke Beveridge. I think it's how the team play, not who.
Lucas Webb, 19-year-old, will make his debut. He starts on the bench. The action is in the middle, and Segler handing it off to Hodge, who gave it to Rioli and bolted. Rioli kicks it into the 50, and a smart start for the Hawks. Gunston comes out, takes the mark, shares it, went to Isaac Smith. You heard the call, and he got one from Segler. And those big, long socks pulled up nicely. The long kick goes into the forward pocket, comes off hand, and it's over the boundary line.
Just saw then with that kick from Segler, that's how much the ball is going to be held up this afternoon. He was 50 out, kicked it pretty well, but still landed 10 short.
Vincent works his way to the front. His rediscovery of his best form has been a big part in the way the Dogs have gone. Dalehouse is determined as ever. Rough head. Hodge hacking it to full forward. Puopolo did well to get ball onto the boot.
Yeah, you can see that ball hold up again there, Jono. Puopolo did well.
Good play here, fair tackle up,
Right.
up on your shoulder.
So the Dogs with the breeze trying to get it out of there. Hawks have been effective so far. Jordan Lewis have it straight back to Dale Morris.
11 touches to 2 already in this game. Hawthorn have got full control at the moment from that first centre bounce. So the Bulldogs will be looking to keep control of the ball here and try and restrict the time in Hawthorn hands. Similar to what Essendon did last week. Hit the lead-up player and restrict their marks.
But stringer wide if you can find him.
Well, he did have the short option on, didn't take it, instead went for the more aggressive option.
You're right. Had to lower his eyes or even look to the left there, Hutto.
Yep. So Isaac Smith sets it up right up into the breeze, going to drop short again.
He's done well. He's butted up his kick well.
Gets it to Wallace, and now he can share it with Dalehouse. Oh, crunch!
In the back.
So now an opportunity finally for the Dogs through Honeychurch to get it moving. Wallace, again, who's enjoyed good start to the season. Murphy's
Beautiful
the
kick
sharer.
to Grant.
Who didn't mark it, but no damage done. Picken, time to assess, and with the breeze, there's a good strong leap from Minson pushing forward.
Yeah, really hard running from Will Minson. Taking the pressure off Boyd and Ace Cordy in the forward half.
He has to be used here, Will Minson, or Ace Cordy if he's playing in the ruck, to try and draw McAvoy out, because this ball's going straight to him.
And it just kept on going all the way to the line. No chances taken there by McAvoy. First score is on the board for the Bulldogs. And after 2.5 minutes, it's a behind each here at Aurora Stadium. So it's interesting to hear, Jono, I know you touched it already, but the tactics with the breeze and how quickly the players can adapt too.
Well, it's critical, especially with, the Dogs training it every week at the Wynn Oval. I'm sure Waverley's pretty similar. So you don't necessarily set up for that. You set up for an MCG where it's a bit swirlier, or an Etihad Stadium where there's none at all.
Mitchell takes it wide. Gunston had to wait. Segler comes in, picks it up, screws it around the body, into the pocket. High ball, Talia there. Roughhead turned defender.
Really good spoil. Play in front of Roughhead, and that's the mark of Luke Beveridge. He's really imploring his defenders to play in front. You can just see here, terrific spoil. Just kill half the contest. Well done.
Rowan Smith very happy with the way they've gone about things in the first couple of weeks and over the NAB Challenge, and it was identified in that first game against Richmond at the Whitten Oval. Just the different setups down back.
Roughhead feeding Lewis. Screwing it back to the square. Again, it holds up. Gunston stood his ground. Picken came in to even up the numbers. Puopolo so dangerous. Gunston trying to get it ever into a better position, but maybe an over-handballing situation there. And they were able to anticipate what was coming. Bruce, though, back hard the other way. And still the going's difficult, and it's over and out of bounds.
Adjusting both sides, aren't they, Spud? At the moment, there's Luke Beveridge on screen, but adjusting to the conditions, the ball's just bouncing, bobbling around a fair bit.
It's a vacant square, but everywhere else it's crowded on this throw-in. Minson gets it to the feet. Gunston was scrambling. John comes in, but he feels it straight away from Puopolo. And the umpire prepared to give him the benefit of the doubt. Numbers swelling in the forward pocket. Again, the Hawks just dropped one off the back of the pack, back into the goal square. Jong. Vigorous work from Mitchell. Oh, and there's an unlucky high contact.
Yeah, it was
Jared
unlucky.
Grant.
But the thing about Hawthorn, they're first to the ball, so the contested possession's 8-4 Hawthorn's favour.
Like Sam Mitchell had a sly little word there to Jared Grant as he went past. He didn't look too impressed.
You see at the bottom of the screen here. Not a lot he could do.
Minimal contact too, wasn't it?
Lewis did go low. There was a hand on his shoulder, but very minimal. Well done.
Well, has the last laugh, Jared Grant, with the smother. Johannesson sends him out of defence. Let's see how the exit strategy works. Crameri, friendless. It's Hawthorn circling, but just a step too many. And Kobe Stevens, one of the later inclusions into this Bulldogs team, with the absence of Matthew Boyd doing the tackling.
And Hutto, just a quick one. Isaac Smith has hobbled off the ground, so I'll keep you posted with that.
So it's actually Dixon takes it, looks to dart, swings it across to Morris. Morris in the back pocket. Oh, gave Whitecross a look at it, and he takes the mark. What a great story this is.
Yes, fantastic.
Everyone with their fingers crossed that Brendan Whitecross can make a really successful and lengthy return to footy after 2 knee reconstructions. Last game was the preliminary final of 2013. Mitchell is prepared to wear one to gain some extra distance. Not easy service for the forward line, though. Talia with the initial work, and then pick and thump the handball. McRae always going to share it with Dalhouse.
Good running.
Still, there's no great movement out of defence for the Doggies.
No, their disposal so far has been average at best.
Well, there's been 3 kicks, 1 out in the full and 2 direct clangers, Jono. So
it's probably below average, isn't it?
Well, it's very ordinary at the moment. Luke would be disappointed with that because they've had opportunities to get the ball inside their forward 50. It's just been the ball use.
Well, aggressive kick from Suckling. It's going to get through the cracks towards the 50 and beyond. That's young Lucas Webb being involved a couple of times.
Well
and darts through the middle. This is better for the Dogs. As Murphy again slightly misses the target. And that was all that was needed to worry Dixon enough. Lake got involved. Stratton's kick. And
what about that?
What was that?
That was a handball through the legs, I think.
Through the legs, I thought it was.
Honeychurch guiding for Dixon. Stringer's gone to full forward. Now the kick's on. If it can get that far, stead into the pocket. Boyd!
Well done. That's what they want from Big Boy. Just north of 30, especially in these conditions. His direct opponent, Brian Lake, not sure where he is, but may have got lost in transit because here's Rioli. He's got his own ball out there, just the tunnel ball, the flick.
That can't be legal, can it?
That's half a throw. Yeah, it was a flick pass.
So it looks good.
But what about the grab? This is, I'm not sure. Brian Lake was caught in traffic there, and he's up against Burgoyne.
Just kicked a couple of goals so far, Boyd.
Oh, well done. Good start.
Great connection, and the Dogs have the first.
Yeah, look, it was fancy stuff from Surioli, but they come off sometimes, and on this occasion it didn't. And it was a really strong kick to Boyd. As I said, Brian Lake was caught up in traffic. And you can just see here, Dixon looking to Boyd out the back. Brian Lake in traffic. Burgoyne tried to find the body, but nothing he would have done anyway if he did body up because Burgoyne, is giving away about 12 centimetres there on Boyd. So it's a great start from the youngster.
Good controlled kick for goal as well. Didn't try and boot the leather off it, just controlled it nicely, guided it through.
So Ace Cordy goes in the ruck, means that Minson, and I like the fact that Minson and Boyd are deep for the Bulldogs with this wind.
Cordy needs to be able to play his role, doesn't he, to allow that to happen.
Yeah.
Good protection out of the middle for Lewis. And there's plenty on that kick, despite the fact it's into the breeze. Roughhead had to wait. They get the ball to ground. Gunston, Rioli. Good pressure from the Dogs, though. Talia, nifty little handball to Murphy. Skinny's the kick onto the wing, and it's over with Stringer and Stratton.
Morris v Gunston is going to be a fantastic matchup all day long. We know how well Dale Morris plays and how tight he is up on his opponent, but Gunston's just got the smarts to get in and behind and create space for himself.
40, straight down. Billy Hartung in the right spot. Gains 40 or 50 metres for the Hawks.
Baz, would you think it'd be a 3 to 4 goal breeze down there?
Yeah, definitely. It's very, very swirly. We can see
the
by
left the screen. Yeah,
we can see by the flags it's blowing quite a bit. So I reckon 3 or 4 goals is definitely the case.
And it's pretty much right down the middle, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Which is unusual to get.
It is. It normally goes to a pocket here at Aurora.
Smith, Mitchell, shaping his body to get into the clear. And again, Webb double
He started extremely well, Lucas Webb.
Boy from Caulfield Grammar, left foot kick, renowned as a beautiful deliverer of the ball, and he shows that there. Working across that back pocket. Morris linking up with Talia. He's a rejuvenated player. That's for sure. Now, Johannisen, he can put the pace on. Has a look behind, sees it's a big lumbering ruckman. And kicks the half forward. Goes over the line and out of bounds. With all respect to a lumbering ruckman.
What he needed, the run was good, but then he had to give some elevation on the ball to Minson there, just to allow Minson to get the work.
Segler and Cordy at it again. Jared Grant. Well adapted by Lynn John. Now Murphy with a kick towards full forward, deep, and almost he nearly grabbed it again. Boyd Stringer does some great work on the ground level. Minson comes in. He's worked it back with a breeze.
What a kick.
What a start for the Dogs.
Jono, the fact that Boyd didn't mark the ball, but he brought the ball to ground, and they had the crumbing player there in Stringer, and then out to Minson was terrific play.
Well, he does bring in, and even last week when he played that way, Boyd, look, he got back defensively at times as well, but Rob Murphy started the game brilliantly this afternoon, but he gets it to the front, and that's where Stringer and Dalhouse need to be on a regular basis. Dalhouse passed the contest on that occasion, but Stringer so tough to tackle, so strong in the body, and gets it out to Big Will Minson, who needs to do that and needs to capitalise up forward while Ace is trying to do some work in the middle of the ground.
That's why I'm loving what Boyd's doing. As a young player, and inconsistencies of a key forward, and why that takes so long is their competitiveness and work rate. He's got that. He's ticking those boxes very, very early.
So you'd be happy, Baz, the fact that he's just bringing the ball to the ground, even if he doesn't mark it.
Well, he just competes, yeah, and he brings other players into the ground, makes it predictable, and, you know, forwards grow around you.
Hawks needed quick hands initially to get it in, and then the kick from Burgoyne, as you saw, was a little bit less than his usual. And the Dogs get it back to the wing, but Segler, who's become a formidable player, takes the mark on the wing.
Well, that's where Ace Cordy has to compete. You know, Dale Morris is not his direct opponent. Ace Cordy's in the ruck and had to halve that contest with Segler. Well done, Lucas Webb. He started well for his first game.
Really impressed in the under-18 championships for Vic Country last year, even more so than his TAC Cup form. And that was enough to get him picked up as a second rounder at pick 27.
The thing I liked about that, his first look was in, and Hawthorn had covered the switch, and then he just coolly went back and went long down the line to a contest.
1 metre rucks, 1 metre separation.
So Hawthorn without a goal as we get towards the halfway point of this opening term. They are kicking into a stiff breeze, as we said. Langsford's kick didn't go anywhere.
No, it was a great smother from the skipper, Robert Murphy.
Strong decision. Cross to McRae. Ball worked over the line and out of bounds.
Big responsibility on a few this afternoon as well, with Bottenpally out of the side. Easton Wood as a defender. Matty Boyd playing as a half-back and being able to rack them up consistently as well in terms of number disposal and effective use. So responsibility now lies with a few others.
Langford was able to find Hodge, but then there was the smother. The Hawks eventually worked things out by hand. Skipper into the clear, and now Puopolo let it bounce, sat for him well. Bruce ducks to the goal square, but he's found a path via Gunston instead, and Roughhead running into the space takes the mark.
No, there's rotations. At the moment, Dale Morris is sitting on the bench, and we talked about the matchup with Dale Morris and Gunston, and unfortunately for young Webb, he got caught spectating the ball. We know Gunston will lead you away from the space and then lead into it, so just had to be aware of that, and it's just one of those unfortunate things that Dale Morris is having a spell.
So Gerald Roughhead, boys, talked in the opening about how good he is against the Dogs. Averages almost 3 goals a game. Similar average per game down here at Aurora.
That's what you're talking about, Spud, right here?
Yeah, you'll just see, unfortunately, Gunston's just to the left of the screen. You can see Lucas Webb watching the ball, and if that had been Dale Morris, he would have been all over Gunston then. So he'll learn from that, Lucas Webb, in the tape during the week with Smithy.
Murphy to himself, and then outside defensive 50. Dalhouse scrambling for it, but the Hawks beat them to the punch eventually. It's left to Gibson, decides to go by hand, so no urgency to get it inside 50. It's all about making the right choices for the Hawks. Lake. Back to Giray. Again, just trying to pinpoint. No, Suckling, he's just going to go for broke. Roughhead got a great run at it, but Roughhead for the Dogs was able to counter. Well done by Wallace. It was good use by hand initially, but it was all under
good
pressure.
Decision from the umpire there.
Boyd tried to flick it out. Cremery had to work his way through traffic, but got out the other side. Johannesson. Now Honeychurch. He's been a revelation this year as well. Did the best as he could. There's some heavy work done on Cordy by Suckling. The umpire ticked it off.
That's the test for the Bulldogs. So last week against Brisbane, they played a similar way out of defence. Plenty of handballs to get to the one-on-one, but Hawthorn get their numbers back so well. Brian Lake can get off, Gibson can get off, and then you got Birchall and Suckling who can just run from that position. So it's a big test.
Did Suckling impede Cordy's run of the ball then?
It'd be interesting to have a look at it again later on, Spud, because that is what we were made aware of at the start of the year.
Well, we know what Suckling's intention was, but did he do it legally? That's the million-dollar question.
Ray got it moving to Mitchell. Now this is better from the Hawks. Suckling will kick it into
I think they're just trying to be a little bit too cute so far this
Larry.
afternoon. You've got Rioli with the handball under the legs, the missed handball at half back there from the Hawks. That kick then from Suckling coming through the middle.
Fair to say that Alistair Clarkson won't like it very much.
You don't mind Flair, but you take the F out of Flair and you end up with Lair, so he'd be really disappointed with that.
I think what we just witnessed then as well was the impeding in the contest, definitely, against Ace Cordy.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Hartung drives it. Well, Rioli did well. And Roughhead had a quick glance, and that was all he needed to bring it back to a teammate, and Luke Bruce will line them up.
It was a falcon then from Rioli. It's in him squarely on the melon. It's worked out perfectly, though.
Surely now Hawthorn will score their first goal at the 16-minute mark of the opening term. Luke Bruce.
He won't miss.
No.
So he doesn't, does he?
Really misses.
He's one of the, well, if not the best set shot in the competition, he'd be in the top three, John. There's no doubting that. They're making the most of their opportunities. Just have a look at this other impeding block here now. This is the new rule. That is a free kick. So, and I'm sure Luke Beveridge would be very disappointed, because we've all seen the DVD at the start of the year. You must give everyone a chance to mark the ball.
He had to come in and put his hands up behind Lake and basically pretend that he's going for it. But to come in and take his eyes off it.
Yep. Yeah, so they got away with one there, the Hawks.
Luke Bruce, 73.1% goal kicking accuracy last year. The best of the top 20 goal kickers in the AFL. And puts through another one. Again, Hawthorn.
Roughhead. Every time Roughhead goes in the centre bounce, he gets the ball.
Mitchell
he's a marvel.
Hammers it forward into the breeze. Still Morris, with all that experience and guile, takes the mark. Held his opponent off with body. Knew when to dive forward. Murphy swings it. Got Webb this side, and he's prepared to use him. The youngster on debut has made a promising start. His fourth disposal coming up. Kick goes along the wing. And McRae takes the mark. Hasn't yet had much of the footy. This is just his third disposal. We know he's prolific, and that's going to disappoint him greatly, Jono.
Disappoint him. Across to Luke Beveridge now, and there'll be disappointment on the face of Beveridge. They're working so hard at the moment to get it out, and that's what Hawthorn do. They pressure up, and they get results like this where they can go inside forward 50 effectively.
And just got through to Puopolo despite the best efforts of the Dogs' defence.
Well, once you see Luke Hodge just lower his eyes, it's going to be a dart. There's nothing the Bulldogs' defence could do with that one. The kick was just too good.
So Paul Puopolo, already kicked 5 goals this year. You know what a versatile player he is with all the forward pressure, the high marks. But it's also about kicking goals, obviously, if you're a forward. And he's normally very good at it, but that wind is difficult for anyone to negotiate.
It was interesting there, Will Minson.
He touched it.
He had to let the ball go. He had to be aware what was around him, because he lets the ball go, he gets a kick. It's out in the full, or a point.
With the way that breeze is at that end, it's going to be hard from the angles, isn't it?
Oh, no doubting that. You could see he aimed for the middle of the goals, and it ended up going to the point post.
White cross, Langford all had a piece of it. There's so many bodies around the ball. I think the Hawks are happy enough. Crowded this up.
Here it is here, Spuddy. He's trying to tap it through for a point.
He just had to be aware that even if it hit the post, it was going to be a free kick to him.
Langford now Roughhead with a run-up. Darts it in at goal. Well worked Hawks, and they're in front.
That's why, Spud, right there. That's why you talk about awareness in the situations you're in, because the boundary throw-in comes in. Hawthorn set themselves up with this marvel right on screen here. Jared Roughhead gets the job done everywhere around the ground. Look at him there. He's just...
Look. And his cousin, unfortunately, was caught spectating there. They had to round him up a hell of a lot earlier. We talked about Roughhead. He's in the middle of the ground now. And that's the beauty of him. They say he is a power forward, but at ground level and his ability to read the play is absolutely outstanding.
What about the set play as well? Lewis up third man. He tried to get it to Mitchell, but it worked out in the end to get out to Roughhead, who positioned himself perfectly.
The issue at the moment with the Bulldogs, time in forward half, 72% for Hawthorn against the Breeze.
They lead by a point.
Straight back this way.
Again, the scramble's on in the middle. John totally besieged, and we'll have another ball up.
It's one thing Hawthorn do really well, Spud, isn't it? Their rotations through a centre bounce. Especially as a forward, it gets you up, gets you in the contest for a bit. You can lose your opponent then going back towards goal.
Well, Lynn John at the moment is up against Roughhead. They're giving away about 20 centimetres.
Stringer gives it to Jong, who turns the pace on, and they get inside. They need to capitalise. Dalehouse crowded very strongly. Good disciplined defence again. They need to try and lock it in if they can, but that's going to be determined as too high.
Was there a handball there from Dalehouse at one stage?
Definitely straight over the top, the reaction. I think it was to Rovat.
Yep.
Technically, I don't think Rovat could do any more in that tackle situation as well. Birchall had his head down. It was high, but he did wrap around his back as well.
Whitecross with the left boot, a little bit of a wayward one. McAvoy can't approach it now. Ace Cordy came through, had it, lost it. Needed some help at ground level, got it from McRae. They're being forced backwards here, the Dogs. Johannesson, that's not going to help, losing his feet, and the umpire said incorrect disposal. Well done, Langford. There's a bit of a one-man war who was fighting there, and he won it.
Well, they're just winning too much of the ball in the midfield at the moment, the Hawks. When they get the ball inside 450, this will be their 13th inside 50, only 4 to the Bulldogs.
Well, it's 10 clearances to 4 also, Spud. If you're going against the wind, the first thing you want to do is win down the middle, and they're doing it beautifully.
Correct weight.
Eventually it gets out to Stratton. Suckling now. Hawks lead by a point. Kicks that up into the breeze, and just bounced. So it's a little bit untidy for the Hawks.
Yeah, Hodge with 9, going at 80%. You've got Suckling, Smith, Lewis, all with 8 and 7. So the midfielders at the moment, and obviously the Bulldogs' leading possession getters are all backmen. Murphy, Talia and Dale Morris.
Good tackle from Mitch Wallace on Hodge. He still was able to find a teammate, though. Duray hitting hard the other way for the Hawks. And now Isaac Smith can use his natural attributes, get them moving again. Bruce next in line. Puopolo. Will he use his hands? He will. Back to Bruce. They're inside 50. Not easy, this one. He ran into numbers 1 and 2. Grant and Murphy. And, well, they held it up for a while, but Puopolo swings it back. Roughhead looking dangerous. Rioli not out of this yet. Roughhead of the Dogs. Talia just hammered it onto the boot as quickly as he could. Stratton climbing high. Impressive mark.
Well, he loves those intercept marks, Stratton.
Back to Hodge again. Now up to 10 disposals. Duray. Hawks lead by 1.
Unfortunately, the Bulldogs just can't get it out of the Hawthorn forward 50 at the moment. But the Hawthorn press is in full momentum at the moment.
Isaac Smith then. Number 89, so he's getting up towards 100 as well. And just fell for McAvoy. Bruce starting to swirl around again, the Hawks up forward. Langford, Rioli, all of them so dangerous around the sticks. Roughhead set up from outside 50 now. Hodge for Lewis.
And once Hodge gets the ball 60 out, it's just danger sign. So, you know, a player without his skill would have bombed the ball long to an outnumbered situation, but he just lowered his eyes and looked laterally and saw his co-pilot in Jordan Lewis has had an outstanding start to the season, Jono.
Their intensity's up again, isn't it, the Hawks? Especially now they can just sense themselves with that better use of the ball. They're just dominating this in their forward half of the ground.
So can he punch this into the wind? No, task beyond him. It is difficult, that's for sure. They're right on guard in that last line. Johannesson decides to run, gain an extra metre or 2 with some pretty heavy protection. Umpire let it pass.
But Baz is right. This is where they need to get to quarter time and rectify the clearance ledger. 11-4 in Hawthorn's favour. When you're going with the breeze, you must win some clearances.
McAvoy, Grant. Can they win this one? Rovat initially, then Talia, now Wallace. And again, maybe the breeze a bit too strong. Obviously wasn't the best strike off the boot.
No, that's 4 in this quarter where they've turned it over, kicking it out on the full. We mentioned it's just below average. It's an easy possession. You're out in space. You've got to at least hit that target or make it effective for your teammate.
Oh, look at that, imposing in the air.
It's been good,
Yeah, Segler.
Had an excellent start to the season, had a really good pre-season. Track watchers at Hawthorn suggesting he was in excellent form. Oh, he's up again, little Puopolo, looking for a repeat from a couple of weeks ago.
Have a look at their pressure, the manic pressure, Hawthorn. They're right in the face of the Bulldogs ball carriers at the moment.
Like a bulldozer in there too.
It was Roughhead.
Mitchell, back to the square. McAvoy this time, so close. Rioli, was it holding the man? It was.
I think it was. You call it right, Hutto. He was smart enough, Rioli, just to tap the ball away very quickly, knowing there was Bulldog defenders around. We're going to grab for the tackle.
He makes everyone so nervous, doesn't he?
Yeah. You're spot on. He does. That's exactly right. Him, Puopolo now adds that, and Bruce. So they've got 3 in that forward line that make the opposition extremely nervous, especially if the ball hits the deck.
So he's close enough to goal, you would think here, that the wind shouldn't be a major factor. Jono? Jono, can you hear me?
No, we can't hear you, Hutto.
He actually
We're happy to jump on board. We just wanted to see what happened after the kick.
He needed a banana from as close as it was.
My sentence did tail off a little bit towards the end as I said it. Jono, back into play. Ling Jong over the top. They're lining up the Hawks. It will be here on impossible from there to kick a goal. Gunston knew it, centred it, and Grant gets it away safely. Johannesson just got ball to boot, maybe a shoelace or two. Honeychurch gets one for in the back.
There was no talk there for Grant. Should have taken the ball, and you can just see the pressure, the referred pressure at Hawthorn are putting on the young bullies at the moment.
Oh, Mitch Wallace being carried off the ground. We'll get to
that's not good.
Barry Hall in a moment.
One thing, Jono, they've done really well, Hawthorn, they've guarded the corridor. You know, you talk about the kicks out in the full, but Hawthorn just won't them allowed. There's Wallace.
There he is there.
So quarter time, and well, the news not great for the Dogs, even though they trailed by just 2 points. They had a strong breeze in that quarter, and the Hawks dominated with 16 inside 50s to 4. They lead by 2 points here at Aurora Stadium. Welcome back to Aurora Stadium, and as if the struggles of the Dogs on the field wasn't enough in the first quarter, very late before the siren, Mitch Wallace has hurt what seems to be a lower back, almost into the upper buttock area, and he's made his way from the ground very slowly with Dr. Gary Zimmerman. So let's hope they can do something on him in this during this break, this little bit of time, and he can get back out there again. But it doesn't look great, Jono, you have to say.
No, it doesn't. Seems like more like maybe a spasm or something, because he got hit, wasn't a big hit or anything like that. Got up to move and just through that lower back region there. So we wait to see whether he plays any further part.
Well, he's a hit. You know, if he plays no further part, you've already lost Bontempelli, Liberatore for the year. Wallace, one of your clearance players, and that's where they're getting absolutely smashed at the moment, 11-5. So let's hope for Luke Beveridge and Stevie Wallace and the Bulldog supporters that he's okay, but didn't look good the way he was walking gingerly in the rooms with Dr. Gary Zimmerman.
Well, we've talked about the disparity in the numbers in terms of inside 50, 16-4. Obviously, it only turned into 2 goals 3 to 2 goals 1. So the Dogs are still in the game, but this quarter, the Hawks will have that breeze, and if they can't turn things around with the way the game's being played, they could be in trouble.
Well, if they haven't got the manic pressure when they do get it inside their forward 50, the Bulldogs, which they've been supremely confident in that first 2 weeks, they're going to struggle, Jono.
It's midfield ball, as simple as that, Spud. The defenders are leading the way for the Bulldogs in terms of disposals, because the ball's been down there so often. For the Hawks, the midfielders are leading the way. That's where now clearances, they've dominated the Hawks. The Bulldogs midfielders need to step up, need to get more hands on ball, especially into the wind. It's exactly what Hawley said during the first quarter. The best way to battle a side going with the wind is to win clearances, win centre bounce clearances especially.
All right, well, we'll get down to Barry shortly and get an update when we do have one on Mitch Wallace. But at this stage, as you saw, he's gone to the room. So nothing to report yet. Certainly no sign that Brett Goods, who is the sub, is looking to come on or warm up. So hopefully the news is that they can do some sort of work on Mitch Wallace, because with the absence of Bontempelli, who was a late withdrawal coming into this game, and also no Matthew Boyd, they are a bit light on in the midfield. Now we are seeing Brett Goods start to warm up.
And Dale Morris starting off the ground as well.
Yeah.
And there might be something going on there. Well, Baz will investigate and do his best work. He's getting strapped up as we can see.
And what Luke Beveridge has done, Jono, has started with an extra in defence. So that's quite interesting. It's going to make it extremely difficult for the Bulldogs forwards having that extra player.
Well, that actually happened in the same collision as the Wallace incident. So Dale Morris is another casualty. Hopefully he's all right.
No, they've just manned that extra up there, so it's even
numbers.
So they're playing 7 forwards.
What Hawthorn have done, they said, no, we're not going to give you an extra. We just want an even competition down there. So it means that the Bulldogs to the right of screen will have 5 forwards, Hawthorn 7.
So underway properly now. Rioli again starting inside the square. Alistair Clarkson just puts just about everyone in at some stage or other. Cramery knocks it away. And I suspect the Dogs will be happy to crowd it up for as long as they can in this second term, as they try and work their way into this breeze, which is going quite strongly to the left of screen, the way the Hawks are kicking in this second term. Dalehouse at the coalface. Ling John, well read by Roughhead, made the steal. Interesting disposal. Hodge takes it wide to Birchall, caught on his wrong side, but had time to swing onto the left. Caught one as he kicked it down to Isaac Smith. Murphy, the delicate little touch, got it across to Honeychurch and McRae. They stayed ahead of the game. Good play by the Dogs. Now, just rushed onto the boot, though, by Murphy, and that's pretty easy fodder. Well, Hawks defence.
One thing the Bulldogs forwards have to be aware of, Jono, they need to play in front, especially if they're hurriedly kick. You've just got to play 3 or 4 metres in front. Both Bulldogs forwards were behind their direct opponent on that occasion.
It's not going to come in lace out with these conditions.
Hartang buzzing through it. Big, long kick inside 50. Isaac Smith, the unlikely target. But that'll happen today with the wind.
Yeah, well shepherded.
Hudson tried to clear a path for Smith to run onto. It's still alive. Pressure there on Talia. Maybe he's being held without it. Roughhead deals it off to Smith. Tough pocket, so chips it up.
Great kick.
McAvoy there.
Great kick.
And uses his size and strength to take the grab.
And again, it started from Roughhead at ground level. Just that quick there, and as you said, Jono, Isaac Smith just looked straight away to that 30-metre area and saw McAvoy there on his own with a couple of midfielders, and just it was just marking practice for him, essentially.
Set it up perfectly, didn't he? Great hands from Roughhead, but you look, there's the eye, straight to the middle, and perfect, highest point.
So McAvoy should be able to slot this one. Breeze behind him, not a problem. Hawthorn's lead is now 8.
They built pressure well today, Hawthorn up forward. The forwards have all bought into that. Well, they do on a regular basis anyway, but the fact of the matter, being able to turn the ball over, the Bulldogs sloppy coming out of there this afternoon. Mitch Wallace trying to move, it doesn't look great. He can barely get out of a jog there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful handball from Roughhead, isn't it? And as you said, Smith's just a perfectly weighted kick to McAvoy. Nothing McRae could do there.
Isaac Smith up to 11 disposals for Hawthorn. McAvoy's first of the afternoon. Joining Bruce and Roughhead as the goal kicker. So Mitch Wallace is coming back, but you wouldn't say he's moving freely.
No.
We're into it again. Dalehouse sends them forward.
That's better. Forwards in front.
It's a good fly from Stringer. Hodge scooped it back. Duray knew what was coming.
Well, this is where the Bulldogs have been so good, Jono. The first couple of rounds have just been able to hold the ball inside their forward half. And if they don't win the ball, just pressure the opposition to keep it in.
Oh, Segler to John. He thought he got one high. There's the cry of ball, as there usually is.
And there's where he got the hit.
Slap forward for the Dogs. Dalehouse. He's got a little meter there on Burgoyne. Screws it back. Almost the mark. Tory Dixon coming hard. Stringer, Lewis, Stratton. All in amongst it.
Well, Dalehouse has started well. Started his second quarter. I need him now with Wallace off the ground. Normally would play probably 40% in the midfield, 60 up forward, but he'll be asked now with Wallace off the ground to probably dominate in the middle.
Burgoyne's kick was smothered. Honeychurch slick with the hands. Stevens. Hartung ran into a dead end. Hodge, Duray.
Good pressure.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
No, that's a really good positive sign for the Bulldogs, just keeping the ball in there.
So 3-3-21 Hawthorn, 2-1-13 the Dogs. Working into this breeze here, the Bulldogs. Not able to lock it in this time. Lewis hammers it back out to the wing. Critical ball to be won then. Picken tracks it all the way back to the line. Talia turned around, had no one to give it to. Fortuitously it landed with Picken, but they're getting forced further and further away from goal. Johannesson first, Roughead second. And clamour all over him.
It's Hawthorn's extra 1 and 2 numbers getting to the next contest first to support the pressure that their forwards are putting on at the moment, their midfielders, especially from a stoppage situation like this. It gets out Hawthorn of the group to leave first to get to the next contest.
McAvoy fended it down. Mitchell. Interesting non-decision. Lewis back to the line for Birchall.
Yeah, we didn't see much of this in the first quarter from Hawthorn last week, Jono, when they played Essendon. They've had nearly 40 more disposals, Hawthorn, and they've had more tackles as well. So their pressure is really ramped up today.
McAvoy brings it down. Rovat into the team as a late change today, getting his opportunity for the year. McRae, he certainly hasn't had much space to work in today. He's up to 6 disposals. It's Billy Hartung, who's also a late inclusion for the Hawks, his first game. He's 8th overall. Rioli, that up into the sky. Chance for a big high leap. Gunston, Langford and Webb. And Lucas Webb, the debutant for the Dogs, escorts it over.
He started all right. He's handled himself pretty well in his first game, Lucas Webb. Got a number of possessions in the first quarter, got the 4 disposals.
McAvoy, Langford, and Smith. Langford again, screws it back to the top of the square. It sits dangerously there. Well done, Roughead. Oh, even better though from Segler. Puts the pressure on once. Picken, and they make the escape. Webb, dangerous old scrubby kick back towards the wing. It's coming straight back. He's a chance from there, Luke Hodge. It's a bullet.
What a kick.
Right on target.
What a game this man is having this afternoon. He's kicked the goal now. He's had 18 disposals in a quarter and 6 minutes. So 36 minutes of footy, he's dominating.
That was like the 3-iron, wasn't it? Just low with the breeze. Have a look at this kick off 3 steps. It didn't go that high, but just the power through the leg. Still going 65. And that kick there, that hurried kick, had to go out wider. When you're under pressure there, Hawthorn will always have a player waiting for that errant kick if it's going inboard. Yeah, he's on target for 50 if he keeps his rate up, Hodgie.
Well, in these conditions as well, that's the class. He's had the 9 kicks, so he's had 9 and 9. 9 kicks, 9 handballs, but his kicks are going at 90%, Spud. So just the use of these tricky conditions, class rises to the top.
John's kick was a miss-hit, and now the advantage given to Hawthorn, and it's substantial. Hartung into the pocket, Segler down there waiting for it to bounce. Kicks around the corner to the square. They're on red alert. And good running. Able to get the Dogs out of there. Dixon back to halfback. It's all hands on deck as far as the Dogs are concerned. Even the forwards are down in defence. They try and grimly hold on here. Let's get down to Baz. Any news on Mitch Wallace?
Yeah, he's testing his back at the moment very, very properly. Brett Goods is actually taking the vest off now, so we'll wait for that to be confirmed, but it looks like it's going to happen.
Yeah, OK. Thanks, Baz. Back into it again. Stringer, Lewis, Gunston. They're circling again. Hawthorn up to the square. Good wrestle on. Roughead, well done for Talia, but Roughead's going to kick the goal anyway.
Yeah, he's having some sort of game as well. Roughead, he's had 10 disposals, kicked 2, gave a couple away as well with ground level. And it's just, yeah, the time inside the forward half again, Hawthorn just dominating. You've got Lewis and Hodge in close. Really good kick from Gunston. Really dangerous kick. Nothing Talia could do on that occasion. And have a look at the recovery from Roughead. Just the body strength to hold him out and then to be first back onto the ball.
His agility and his ability to hold his feet is first class Roughead.
Margin 20.
The doctor's still talking to Steve Wallace there, and as I said, Brett Goods, as you said.
Yeah, we'll check with, he's on, and we'll get with Baz in a moment. I think it's Morris that's actually been subbed off, so we'll get confirmation of that from Barry in a moment. Stratton takes the mark. And now they're on their way out again through Birchall. Beautifully read by Kobe Stevens. Stands up and takes it. The kick poked into the pocket. It's hard yards from there.
Well, it's the only option he had because Hawthorn getting back. There's Hodge, just the bone-crunching bump there.
Doing everything this afternoon.
Perfectly legal.
So, Baz, confirmation down there that it's Morris that's been subbed off?
Yes, it is Morris. We had all our attention on Mitch Wallace, and he's back, but it's Dale Morrison, that shoulder injury. He went back on the ground, re-aggravated it, and put the red vest on, unfortunately.
So they're a man down and maybe another.
Yeah, well, Mitch Wallace is running in front of Baz at the moment.
He's going to battle to get
He
out.
won't be winning any store gift, put it that way at the moment, the way he's running.
I'm not sure he was one of the short price favourites anyway beforehand, but that's going to make it awfully difficult.
Well, it's a big decision for Luke Beveridge because he's going to have to play a player down because the way Mitch is moving along that boundary line, as a coach, you couldn't risk that.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the risk versus what he might be able to give out there.
Not much.
Gibson in towards Roughhead again. He's looming large. Roughhead from the Dogs. Jordan takes it over the line and we'll have a throw in.
Well, the backs are getting plenty of work for the Bulldogs. That's for sure. Talia, their leading possession getter, and that's the worry. He's playing some sort of game himself. He's had the 15 disposals.
He's got to be careful though. Roughhead's kicked the 2 goals on him as well. Honeychurch off the ground now. That's after the hit from Luke Hodge in the middle of the ground.
Well, the Dogs finding out what it's really like
That's
to be
right. They flex their muscle.
Competing with the top team in the competition and not having any luck in running with injury. Free kick, and it's going to Gibson. Luke Hodge is having a day out. His 19th disposal, linking up with Lewis, and now Birchall just dabs it inside 50, barely the required distance, but just enough for Paul Piopolo. He's more than happy to take it.
They don't look like it at the moment, getting their hands on ball. It's just a dominant display from Hawthorn. They've compressed the ground up, making it so difficult for the Bulldogs to get out.
So Piopolo just worked himself out to the right to try and put it out to the breeze, but as you can see, just didn't quite get it all together. There's a miss, so the Hawks lead moves up to 21 points now. As Murphy brings it back into play in a most conservative fashion, found his man Picken in the back pocket into the teeth of this breeze. Boyd's pushed up to the wing to try and be a target, but it falls well short of him. Thankfully for the Dogs, it goes to Kobe Stevens. So that's a casualty ward on the bench at the moment, isn't it, for the Dogs? Lake.
Just setting up so well. They're letting the Bulldogs forwards go up, the Hawks defenders. They're not resetting in time. Hawthorn are just dominating where they want the Bulldogs to kick the ball. And when they do get it to that spot, they've got an outnumber.
Gibson being harassed by Goods. Now opportunity for Grant. Opportunity here for Crameri, presents nicely, needs to run it in and make sure of it. Valuable goal into the breeze for the Bulldogs from Stuart Crameri.
It is just a transition from Hawthorn. They let themselves down in that situation, trying to go the switch of play. They got it out to the spare. Duray, he had to go onto his right foot, missed his target in Gibson, then the pressure came from the Bulldogs. Good tackle from Goods just onto the ground in replace of Dale Morris. And Grant missed the target there going forward, but Crameri had enough time and space to run into an open goal.
So we've reached the 13-minute mark of this second term, and that reduces the lead to 15. That's obviously the Dogs' first score of the quarter. Hawthorn have kicked 3 goals, 1, had 7 inside 50s to 2. There's an update for you with Mitch Honeychurch looking a little better. Got to look for small things at the moment, don't they, Doggies
There'll be
fans?
a few boys out there playing sore this afternoon from a Bulldogs point of view.
Whitecross kept it up for the Hawthorn. Lewis wandered through, gets it deep again. Almost the mark down there, Johannesson. Jared Grant, as you said, everyone's got to really dig that extra bit deeper in this second term for the Bulldogs. Unfortunately, that one sprayed over the line.
Ruffy will look for something. If not, just put it about 30 metres out to give the forwards a chance to run and jump.
Segler.
Oh, was he interfered with? Play on the call through the fingers of Whitecross. Isaac Smith again, same mantra as before, trying to centre it, getting it into that corridor where it's much easier to shoot for goal than it is from the pocket. Lewis tries to belie that, but there was a goalkeeper on the line. McRae, not the best handball. Dixon improvised, kicking off the outside of the boot.
Inside our barrel, out of defence. That's the pressure that's built. Sometimes you just got to get it to boot no matter what. At least he kept it wide, was able to control it so it didn't go out on the full. So it gave them a chance to reset. Tom Boyd going back behind the contest here.
Segler. Jared Grant. Or did he? Boy. He might have just got a fist to it. But
a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah, he's arguing that point. It was an unconvincing hit.
From the naked eye, it looked like he got a fist to it.
It did. Whether the tackle made it pop, and then he still handballed it, but...
sort of threw a little bit, didn't it? So,
good decision.
You can see why.
Yeah, he pinged his arm, Puopolo.
Again, Puopolo, he's got plenty on that, but even with the strong breeze, it's hard to get the right line, isn't it? From what we've seen.
Directly in front is not an issue, but as you said, it's so strong, it's going to push it one way or the other.
Murphy spies Cramery, hard to get there. Lake to Rioli to Roughhead. All the premiership experience, the wealth that Hawthorn have on display there. It's not flashy things necessarily. Sometimes
Spud was out of his chair with that spoil from Brian Lake. That was huge. Straight down Rioli's throat, 25 metres away.
Magnificent attacking play, wasn't it?
So Jared Roughhead there. You can see what's ahead. And works it through for a goal. Hawthorn have 6 now.
Now, really good defensive play. They've gone for the long kick down the middle, the Bulldogs, but the ball unfortunately sat up in the air. And as you said, Jono, Brian Lake just whack. Straight to Rioli. That's gone 30 metres. And Rioli, you could have excused him for 40 metres out, just popping one over the top for a goal. But very unselfish play. Just darted one 15 metres to Roughhead. Another angle there.
Yeah, great vision there. Look at that. Rioli just set up nicely for it. Could see it coming from Brian Lake.
So now 4 goals, 2 to just a single major for the Dogs in this second quarter from Aurora Stadium. A beautiful day in Tasmania. Very cool and plenty of breeze, but nice and sunny. Mitchell's kick smothered. Came back for Hodge. Stringer, Dalehouse, Minson all on guard. There is Stringer trying to wind his way through. Brett Goods. This young Bulldogs team under all sorts of pressure now with injury, restricting their rotations. Real test of character and class. McRae comes away with ease. Guides the kick to half forward, but that's about where it ends for them. Duray and he's sprightly up to his feet, moving it. Birchall as they link across half back. Burgoyne angles it to Whitecross. Busy intersection there. Murphy came hard. Didn't give any ground. No, the player did. Crunching effort on Roughhead. Withstood the pressure. Got it moving again. Murphy will have to release. Tried to do it by boot. Questionable whether he actually got anything onto it or not.
Roughhead's very sore now as well after that contact from Rioli coming through.
Well, they're under all sorts of strain down there, the Bulldog defence. Birchall looking to hit a target inwardly. He does.
What about this man?
To the man of the moment.
Is he what?
Just had the 8 disposals in this quarter, and he's up to 20 already. It'll be 21 after this kick, with still 8 minutes remaining.
Yeah, that's a 10th mark inside the forward 50. Bulldogs, unfortunately, only 1.
Well, they conceded a few last week too, the Bulldogs. They conceded 17 to the Tigers, but they're all wide. So it made the shots more difficult last Saturday afternoon, but they can't stop them getting inboard. With the amount of ball that they've had in their hands, the Hawks, they're getting good looks at it everywhere.
Hodge comes in to shoot for goal. Roughhead already has 3. So their stars are shining once again. 21 disposals and a goal for Luke Hodge. His first of the year. In fact, that's his second for the day, so his second of the year.
A couple of big hits in this passage of play. Whitecross cops one there. Welcome back to league footy, Brendan Whitecross. And Roughhead here, he copped another one from Rioli, but Rioli straight back up, back involved in the play. And they're looking inboard really well this afternoon, the Hawks. Isaac Smith done it a couple of times. Birchall on that occasion, straight back inboard to a player in a better position.
Luke Hodge's best ever performance in a game disposal-wise is 40 in round 15, 2011 versus Collingwood. Pies actually won that day.
He'd nearly have 30 by half-time, the way he's going today.
And didn't get a Brownlow vote for his 40 disposals. Plenty of effort going in. The kick goes inside 50. And the mark taken there by Gibson, just easing across half-back for the Hawks. They lead by 28. Their skills on display. Beautifully placed kick from Duray. Now, Roughhead moves it again. Look at them stream forward off the left. Lewis just pumped it up. Good spoil.
Hodgie again.
He'll give it off. Share the love. And Gunston puts through Hawthorn's 8th goal.
Well, it started from the long kick to the Bulldogs where Gibson marked the ball about 45 out. There's not a lot the Bulldogs could do on that occasion, but their defence is too good. You kick that ball high, 45 metres out from your goal, you'll either have Stratton, Gibson, on that occasion was Gibson Lake, and that starts their counter-attack, and their ball use was coast to coast. So they're the #1 team in the competition from counter-attacks from the defensive 50 for scores, and that passage of play explains why.
It's clinical at the moment, but it seems like they maybe copped a little bit of a spray at quarter time. They were a bit cute in the first quarter, the Hawks, just trying different things and that we don't normally see from them. But it's just been pure, the basics, they're doing them so well in this quarter.
Langford, well, that was a little bit tricky from Lewis. Got it going again. They're inside 50. Once again, the onus on the Dogs to get it out of there. Johannesson takes it wide for Cramery. Close attention from Isaac Smith. He's been forced to come up the ground and assist where he can in this quarter, Stuart Cramery. As he looks to effect the switch. Jordan Roughhead. Next along the line was Talia. Stevens also working up the ground. He got another one. And Dixon that was. You can see he was forced to spoil Tory Dixon. It's the ball over and out again. So it's 6 goals, 2 to 1 straight goal in this quarter.
Thanks, boys. 29 inside 50s to 7
for the match.
So the Hawthorn defence haven't had to do a hell of a lot.
One handball too many there. Lovely spinning move by the big man McAvoy. Lewis shovels it out to Hartung. It's been deemed a throw.
Lewis not happy.
Yeah, trying to retain his composure.
Good decision. Don't know what he's complaining for, Louis.
I think he'd be just claiming a tap on rather than
fell out of his
throw.
hands. Yeah. And John down the line. Jared Grant, Minson. It's Minson that took it in the end. Oh, he laid it off to Dalhouse, who was in a world of trouble. Look at Stringer. Express as he kicks to full forward, and the Dogs with a chance for a second of the quarter.
50.
And it's Tom Boyd, and he doesn't get the advantage of 50. Although it's a bit unlucky in a way.
Yeah, it was a bit unlucky. The umpire explained why the 50. He reckons it was in the art of spoiling. So
Lake's very good at doing that in the art of spoiling, isn't he? It's interesting because we talked earlier how even on a slight angle, difficult to negotiate this breeze.
Could have quite easily been 50 there. It's still, as you said, Hutto, it's still a very tough kick, the strength of that breeze. Just keep it low under the grandstand.
Shouldn't be a problem from here, Jono.
We'll wait and see. We'll pause now. No problem.
Well done.
Going out on a limb there, Jono. Good stuff. And so at least they've been able to get a couple of goals in this quarter. I guess the disappointing thing from the Bulldogs' point of view is they didn't score enough in the first quarter.
They need to keep it at this, though, or even bridge the gap even further, which would be ideal from a Bulldogs' point of view, of course. It can't blow out any more than this, because with the breeze in that third quarter, they can reset and make things alive by three-quarter time in terms of what they'll be looking to do as a footy club. So it's important, and these centre breaks are critically important, because that's where Hawthorn has dominated this game so far. Hodge in there, Lewis in there, then you throw the likes of Mitchell in around it as well. They've just been in control.
So critical last 5 minutes of this Second term, Lewis springs into action again. Puopolo, it opened up for him, so he's able to hit the leading target of Roughhead, but it's Jordan Roughhead that comes hard the other way for the Dogs. Maybe they can get a bit of a run here. Johannesson out to the wing. Hawthorn are a magnificent team, both with the footy and without, so they'll make it as difficult as possible. But good progress by the Dogs. Burgoyne, he was off guard. He knocked it away from Dixon. Boyd over the top of Lake. Well captured through there by Jared Grant. Dalhouse has some support out the back. Tried to find it by hand. Goods worried off it. Webb back to Minson. He didn't know that was coming, but maybe it helped him. Kick it to Lynn John. Just took a bit of the pace off it.
It did. It did. All the Hawthorn defenders were looking for the high ball, and it stayed low.
Well, this young man is not a bad shot at goal at all, Hutto, so I will put it on the line.
Oof.
This one here, he's such an improved player for the Western Bulldogs. He offers speed through the midfield.
Well, actually, Hall, you were very good watching yesterday's coverage at picking goals up there in Sydney. Is this one through or not?
This one's through. Very difficult, that end, as you guys have been alluding to, but this will go for it. Have a look at this.
Yep.
Yeah, well done.
Beautifully called, both of you gentlemen. Right through the middle, a couple in a row for the Dogs. And against all trends and, I must say, expectations from a few minutes ago, they've been able to dig deep here.
Well, especially the fact that Dale Morris has been subbed out. Mitch Wallace has not been back on the ground.
Yep.
And you have a look at the interchanges in the second quarter. Hawthorn had 30. Bulldogs only had the 20. And as we know, the rotations, the longer the game goes, is going to hurt them. So, as you said, John, there's going to be some tired boys at the end of the day, but they just have to dig deep, and they're doing that at the moment. It's a really good effort the last 5 or 6 minutes.
So can the Bulldogs continue on? Back to 22 points. Poor old Mitch Wallace.
And just on Mitch Wallace, he's been running up and down, and he's just not moving any better at all. So I'm really going to struggle to see him back on the ground, I'd think.
Next pass, Mitchell sends it in there again. Roughhead decides to stay down. That was Hawthorn's Roughhead. Hodge again, Puopolo, give him an inch, and he'll kick a goal. Just like that. Emphatic response by Hawthorn.
Out of the middle of the ground once again, Hodge, and that's what we spoke about. The Hawthorn midfielders, once the ball's kicked, they're getting there next. They're all involved here, Puopolo and Hodge. Hodge with the double disposal here. He gives it to Mitchell, and then here's the one. Look at him working at the top of screen there, pushing extremely hard, gets to the contest, and there's Puopolo, followed up as well from the middle of the ground.
How good is that?
That's just brilliant. Brilliant work from Hodge, leading the way in all facets of the game this afternoon.
So, Puopolo kicks the goal, but Luke Hodge, 24 disposals. Puopolo's had 15 himself. Jordan Lewis, another 20. And the Dogs out of the middle. And Jong really is an improved player, as we said. Thumped away by Burgoyne. Suckling got involved as well back there, and so too Lake. But suddenly the Dogs through Honeychurch.
Yeah, well, good reply.
This game's opened up.
It has a little
score
bit.
fest.
He had
Centre clearances.
He had to kick it as well, Honeychurch. Had Boyd all by himself, 10 metres out from goal for a handball forward of the play. But you're right, Spud. It's another response out of the centre bounce. They're becoming critical in determining who's in control of the game at any given time this afternoon.
Well, Injohn kicked a goal before, and he's had a goal assist by winning that centre clearance. And well crumbed from Honeychurch. Good reply. Just need that for their confidence, just to keep the scoreboard ticking over against the wind. They're actually playing better against the wind than they were with it.
Well, it just shows out of the middle how important it is for the Doggies. They've been inside 50 10 times and scored 7 of them. So if they get out of the centre, they're every bit of a chance.
9-5, plays 6-1. 14 scoring shots to 7. They've had 21 more inside 50s. And it's equated to just a 22-point lead, but that could be building here because Grant Birchall...
He's in range.
He is.
Yeah.
Yep, with the assistance of the 50 metres. Certainly not beyond him. Have the Dogs got someone on the line? Minson goes back there now. Puopolo's there as well for Hawthorn, so Minson will have to watch him.
Cordy's back there as well, so Birchall's got a massive leg on him though.
So Birchall
look at that.
strikes as nothing. The tallest man in the world couldn't have stopped that one going through.
Well, he's kicked it from 60, and it's nearly at the fence. So He knew as soon as he had the ball that was going to be a score. And the centre clearances again, the last 4 centre clearances end up in goals. So 2 to Hawthorn, 2 to the Bulldogs. So they're crucial at the moment. The game has opened up.
So that 50-metre penalty was paid. And it's cost them a goal. Back to 28 points again.
Been a superb player, hasn't he, Grant Birchall? Local product down here, Tasmania.
Free-scoring quarter, 8 goals to 4 for the term. Vincent just got it down, but you can see Mitchell and Rioli and Langford and then Lewis caught unawares, but didn't give it up. Instead, it's Birchall again with that free-flowing action. Deep to full forward, good strength in the contest.
That's a big mark.
Yeah, Talia.
Yeah, he's been playing well. He's been playing well.
His confidence levels have grown significantly this year. Of course, his brother, one of the outstanding defenders in the competition. And John flies. He's going to work it back before they go forward. Murphy with that left boot. Talia, eyes darting. Bit of a wobbly ball drop, and that didn't make it easy for Brett Goods out there. Rioli, they're clamouring for a look at this. An easy gift for Ruffalo. The wind was so strong that he spilt it. Still gets the same result. 9 goals in the quarter for the Hawks.
Yeah, poor use from Talia coming out of the back half then. He had time and space. He had Brett Goods open, but just the kick out just doesn't hit it at all. And you can see there, poor bounce, pressure comes. Puopolo loves the tackle. Rioli first in again as the next player to the contest. And that's the time and space. Straight back over Talia's head. Ruff had plenty of room to move, even to drop a simple mark. And look, the reaction from Luke Beveridge, it wouldn't be great on this occasion. It's just disappointing. It just let yourselves down as a side when you perform like that. And it doesn't matter what level it's at. If you kick like that out of defence, generally goes straight back over your head.
Segler at the feet. Good follow-up from Minson. The cricketer with both feet, I think, there. Eventually got something on it. Now they're out of the middle again. Stevens, deep kick. Boyd got to the front, but just got a little bit of help on the way. Experience again from Brian Lake. And now the Hawks can move on that outer side. Good use of the body and terrific ball awareness from Goods. And he takes it over the boundary line and out of bounds.
Well, the Bulldogs put an extra behind the play. So only a minute and a half to go. Luke Beveridge has said enough's enough.
Minson, good combat at the stoppage. Hodge racks up another disposal. That's 25. They've had 220 disposals, Hawthorn, to 162.
Bit of a height mismatch there. Talia and Puopolo.
So almost 60 more disposals. Isaac Smith just heaves it onto the boot. Up into the wind, and there are Talia and Puopolo. Had to leave his man there. Good strength in the contest by Goods. Made life a little bit difficult for Bruce. Ball up the result. 50 seconds remaining in the first half. Hawthorn 11-5-71. The Western Bulldogs 6-1-37. Jared Ruffhead with 4 goals, 2 to Luke Hodge. Been a masterful performance by Hodge, Hawthorn captain. Go with his 25 disposals. Segler. Again, they team up. Hartung. Under some stress and strain, but still got the kick away. Burgoyne just been a bit player for them today. High ball to full forward. Langford and Murphy awkwardly lands on the line. And Murphy did enough. Instant kick in. Johannesson tempted to move. He wanted to share it, but all he really did was transfer the pressure. But they've got out. Dalehouse. That's good aggressive play. It's been their mantra this year, and so good on them for having that attitude. Rovat, though, didn't need that from his teammate Tory Dixon, who helped bring him down. Luckily for the Bulldogs, there's only a handful of seconds remaining. And the siren sounds to complete A dominant second term by Hawthorn. They've kicked 11 goals to half-time, 11-6-72. The Western Bulldogs, 6-1-37. Luke Hodge with 25 disposals. Jared Ruffhead with 4 goals. Cannot wait for that one. Bomber Thompson with Mike Sheehan Monday night.
Warts and all, Hutto.
Yeah, but this, I don't know how they're going to fit it all even in an hour, because it's there's so much to cover. And
well, he's had a lot of experiences, hasn't he, Mark Bomber Thompson? He's been an outstanding AFL person, obviously premiership player, premiership captain, premiership coach. He's been the Essendon coach last year through the saga. He's now in the media, so he's done a lot.
All right, 35 points to margin. One thing, Jono, which we talk about often, just in individual passages with Hawthorn players, they're third-up jumpers, and Hodge and Lewis are the two, aren't they, that do it so often. They've been at it again today. That's just Hawthorn showing the numbers that they are first up in the league. Other than 2013, they were second, but it's just improvise. Haven't always had the strongest ruck brigade, have they? But they've still managed to use their midfielders to great effect.
They control areas when they need to, don't they, the Hawks? And that's one area that, you know, they're just so smart and switched on. And that's the experience that comes with it. It's a little nod, a little wink to one another. OK, I'm going up now. Tell the ruckman, maybe they might got a little clue where they just give the ruckman a tap that I'm coming third man up. Make sure I don't jump into your back. I jump into the Bulldogs ruckman's back. But then it's Mitchell. The one up forward here where Ruffhead kicks his goal was the perfect setup. Lewis went to go to Mitchell, didn't get there, but in the end it got out to Ruffhead. It set up perfectly and snapped the goal.
All right, let's get down to Barry Hall ahead of the third quarter.
Thanks, Hutto. Well, the first 2 rounds of football where the Doggies were so good was time in forward half. They dominated the tackling pressure they put on the opposition, and the share of goal kickers, which Hawthorn at this stage are dominating all those areas at this stage of the game. Where they need to really get a handle on this game is in the centre. 28 to 14 clearances in favour of the Hawthorn Football Club. I know with Mitch Wallace out of the side, or maybe not coming back on, that's going to be a tough area for the Doggies to get back into. But that's where they got to win it for me. Yes, the pressure and all that they put on is fantastic. They have to win it out of the centre. So it's a really big second half coming up for the Doggies.
Certainly is. Thank you, Barry. We'll be watching with interest what they do with this breeze in the third term. Do you think it's dropped away a little bit, the breeze?
Look, it may have dropped away a little bit, Hutto, but we were talking about it at half-time. One thing the Bulldogs need to do, they need to attack through the middle of the ground. When they were using the breeze in the first quarter, they kicked the ball out in the full four times. That's taking nothing away from Hawthorn's pressing defence, but they need to take some risks now because the Buzzy had 11 inside 50s for the first half, so they're not giving their forwards enough opportunities. No. So they've kicked 6 goals, so they're going way over 50% goal-scoring conversion when they're getting it in there.
Segler came with good timing in the ruck that time. Hodge charges through, but not before Jordan Ruffhead takes the Dogs out to the wing. McRae and Whitecross gets it over and out. Good to see him get full. So free kick is going to McRae. Brings it quickly in as we see what's going on. Doesn't look like things have advanced much with Mitch Wallace.
No,
so
Dale Morris there as well. Looks like the shoulder with Dale Morris.
Tumbling mark taken by Dalehouse. Quick to share it. Opportunity. Johannesson goes back to Dalehouse. Has to measure the pass, which he does to Boyd. How have you liked the way he's moved so far?
Oh, look, I've liked it, Hutto. As I said, this is the 12th time it's been in there, and he's had probably 5 of those opportunities.
He looks the most likely, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's halved the contest. He's kicked the 2 goals. So, gee, if you had more opportunities, you'd be doubling that goal-scoring factor easily.
Well, what a boost this would be. We've noted how difficult it is from the pockets, particularly at the other end, but even with the breeze, to get it right here. And Boyd goes across the face. And the Hawks defence on guard, do what they needed to concede the behind and get the ball back in their hands. The margin now 34 points. Doesn't take long for the Hawks to be in action again. Even when they pull a kick like that from Isaac Smith, it still goes in, keeps out of harm's way.
You could hear the umpire then as well, just off the side of the boot, not deliberate.
I think even surprised that Smith had an errant kick.
Minson, and there's that third up again from Luke Hodge. Poked it away, Dalehouse, they keep it in. Rovat, again tossing it up into the breeze. Burgoyne, very skillful. He's been very attentive on Stringer when he's needed to be today. Hodge, we're going to have a Hodge watch, I guess, through the second half, but it's not his best.
Oh, that was his first ball one this afternoon, trying to get into the second half. Got an easy one around the back from Burgoyne. but didn't use it. He's a good kick, Dixon. He needs to go back with the breeze and,
we saw
and have a crack at this.
Well, he needs to now, because Boyd was one-on-one at about 20 metres out.
Cambridge just told him, have a shot.
I don't think he's got the message yet. He might have it now. He still doesn't look confident that he can kick the distance.
Got the distance okay.
Well, he couldn't set in the end either, because the umpire came up and said, look, 20 are gone. You'd want to get things moving in a hurry.
Look, Burgoyne. You saw how difficult it is to kick into that breeze.
Yeah, free kick. Eyes off the ball there from Dixon.
Yep. Stratton. Been a very solid player for Hawthorn through their years of success. Jabs it short. Lewis get it out to the wing again. Just bypasses Smith, but he knew what was coming. Talia. The Dogs are able to keep possession.
Now, this is a better kick into the middle of the ground. Create some run.
Dalehouse, eyes darting, had to go back outside again. Stringer reels it in.
You've got Boyd deep.
That's what Hawthorn do so well, though, Spud, as we watch this ball go inside 50.
Oh, he tried to aim up Jared Grant.
The first one comes into Dalhouse, but then they block things up so well and man the mark so effectively. He only had one option, and that was to go back outside again.
Yeah, that kick had to go to the top of the square, though, because Boyd's been the one. So if he doesn't mark it, it brings their crummers into play. So to go short into the pocket for that kick is not really good team advantage, because it's impossible to crumb that kick. But if you get the ball like Hawthorn do, always to the 30 metres out, that's where they get most of their opportunities.
McAvoy. Hodge. Nothing that could be done there for Burgoyne, or the umpire forced to call for a ball up. Good tackling though, good pressure from Grant and Minson. Minson over the top of it. It's escorted through by Brian Lake. So
well, they're getting repeat entries, the Bulldogs, which is something they've been unable to do all day.
Cleanly in from Mitchell to Gibson, the instant give to Birchall. And now to Hodge for some more. Whitecross. Back inside to Hodge, as if he needed another stat. Birchall. There's some pressure from Stringer. Look at the muscle work by Roughhead. Took Cordy out, but well done. Battled on and could well have been whistled there. Play on the call. Segler got it from Stratton now. Feeds it through to Birchall. Oh, well weighted. Gunston marks. And wants to poke it over.
Bruce on his own. He can run all the way now.
How could Luke Bruce be left on his own? Interesting that he didn't play on. He's confident he can get it right. Punch it into the breeze adequately for a major here. So for all their hard work at the start of the third quarter, the Dogs. Good opportunity here for Hawthorn through Luke Bruce. It's the 4 disposals and now 2 goals.
He's a very good kick, we know that. If the pressure's not at the source, and what I mean by that, John, is around that half-forward line where the Bulldogs have been so good in the first 2 rounds, the defence of the Bulldogs, because they're a fronting defence and playing in front of their men, I like it taking it on. But Hawthorn is such a good kicking team, and if there's pressure not on the ball carrier, it makes their defence, gee, do I play a little bit closer? And I still like the way their defence is going. They back themselves in, but Hawthorn is so good at using the ball, so if there's no pressure at the source, there's not a lot the defence can do.
Well, and they're stretched down there at the moment too. Ace Cordy's having to play deep in defence at the moment. He's not your natural defender. Big Ace Cordy. Roughhead's the most experienced down there at the moment. You've got Rob Murphy who plays up, and Lucas Webb and Talia trying to fight the fight down in that area of the ground as well.
At least Ace Cordy's playing on a ruckman, isn't he, at the moment?
Yeah, well, there's got that initial matchup which does suit Ace in some ways.
Bit of a standoff in the middle. Kobe Stevens gets the release handball to Murphy, and now to Minson. Margin is 38.
A better kick through the middle.
Finds Dixon, he turns to goal.
Boyd deep.
Could have been 50 there. Whitecross suspecting Croach. Big kick. It was Grant that flew. Dalehouse has squeezed that one through the pack.
Well done.
And it's dribbled through for a goal.
Well, that's the play. Just get the ball north to 30 and put the Hawthorn defence under pressure. And what it does, create opportunities. Now, you can say Grant shouldn't have flown, but you can see Boyd here. He's the target. And Grant comes in third man in, which is fair enough. But what it does, it brings the ball to the ground. All of a sudden, Hawthorn under pressure. So it creates opportunities. Instead of kicking the ball to the flanks in these conditions, just really put the defence under pressure, because the kick isn't deep enough to put it through for a goal. And that's a really good crumb there from Dalhouse under the arms of Lake.
He's a dangerous player. They've all had to carry such a big load today with Mitch Wallace and Dale Morris both off injured, and Bontempelli a late withdrawal before the game. They lost Boyd on Friday, so it's been difficult for the Dogs. They're up against a premier team. They're battling on. They've got the breeze in this third term. It's a goal each so far. The margin stands at 32.
Good body work from Grant on that occasion. Just picked Stratton off at the right time.
Bruce, almost a throw. It was.
You just need to keep pumping the ball in, because they've been in 4 times this quarter for 1 goal 3. So they're attacking the goal face.
McRae with that wind. Well, Boyd looked likely there. Well done, Giray, and then Birchall, the backup, was outstanding. They flicked it outside 50. Lewis to a one-on-one. Hodge, Picken, might be his company for the moment, just to try and restrict his influence, which has been substantial.
Not being critical of Boyd then, because it was a really good target he made, but he can't afford to get under the ball. He needs to bring the ball down to the front of the pack for the Crummers. So, but it'd be hard to judge with this breeze.
Mints into the 50. Stratton with great authority takes the mark, and they break. They spread the Hawks to this side. He was thinking about going to Lake, but those bases are now covered, and he's forced to run and kick hurriedly off the left, where they are outnumbered. And good mark taken by Kremer as the ball held up. Darts away, promising this for the Dogs. Again, Lake will be hard to combat. Takes the mark off the pack, works it to Mitchell. Awkward moment, but Giray was steady in the crisis, and they're away again. Team first again. The Hawks sweeping through the middle of Aurora Stadium. Bruce sets it up for Gunt, up towards Roughhead. Fisted away, well done. And McRae and Johannesson, and now Jordan Roughhead, and the Dogs steadfast.
He did well then, Ace Cordy. Came off his direct opponent in McAvoy, created the spoil on Roughhead, who in his mind probably thought he was going to take an uncontested mark going forward. That's just brilliant by Brian Lake. He's so good at that, just judging the flight of the ball, and those intercept marks are critical. So good. It's the reason why he was able to win that Norm Smith medal.
Former Bulldog, of course. They worked the angles. Surprising spillage from Langford, but he redressed the situation quickly. Unfortunately for the Hawks, holding the ball.
He's probably the one Hawthorn player looking for a big second half, Langford. He hasn't had too much of the footy in this game so far.
Boyd came up to take it, and they've worked it well. Linjon, he's got an option, and Grant moves into space.
Tried to take it on the chest. He had to extend the arms there, Grant.
Right cross, desperate. Just delighted to be back out there again in the big time. Grant taken to ground by Gunston. He just gobbled him up, and we'll have a ball up on the 50.
Not many opportunities, but all he had to do is extend the arms, and he takes an easy mark. Have a look at him here trying to mark it on the chest, and he gives wide cross every opportunity to spoil.
That might be in danger. Advantage, Stringer, capable from there. He tries the pass for Boyd, but again, the Hawks with sheer weight of numbers.
I like the fact that they're attacking that area, though. It really puts Hawthorn under pressure.
And they almost were able to soccer it through. There's lots of hands up, big appeals.
And that was good on that occasion because Boyd...
Hodgie.
Yeah, not happy.
Was he angry?
I'm not sure he was angry at then. I don't think it was directed at... Would have had to have been a teammate.
Suckling finds Hartung. Didn't take the mark. Rovat. A bit of anguish out there.
There is a little bit at the moment. He's just a presence, Luke Hodge, though. He's just controlling everything at the moment.
Honeychurch for Dalehouse, but ran out of real estate very quickly.
One thing the Bulldogs have done extremely well, which they didn't do in the first quarter, is the clearances. They've won every clearance so far this quarter, 8-0. So, and that equates inside 50s, 10. The only thing they've failed to do is kick majors. They've kicked the 1-goal 4, but this is the most dominant bit of play they've had for the day.
Talia bombs into the pocket.
Again, that kick just had to be another 10 metres to the right.
I like Ling John going for his marks, I do, but I think at times he just needs to time it. A couple of times he's got in front of Boyd, which I think affects Boyd's jump at it. Look, if he's by himself, go for it. But if you're taking your team, your opponent in there as well, maybe then turn and come to the front. So Boyd can crash it, and you get the crumb.
No doubt whatsoever, because he should be there for the crumb. I think Brian Lake's got his hands full with Boyd, and look here. Boyd's got to make a contest. That ball comes down. Ling John goes to the front and square. He crumbs that.
He is a good mark and he's confident.
But as you said, when it's his turn.
Yeah.
And when Boyd's going up, that's not his turn. But that's just getting a bit of a connection with the youngsters as well. And no doubt they'll have a look at that.
Lightning by hands, the Hawks. And then Roughhead. Body Talia just at the right moment. And he has to wait for the traffic to pass before he can spot up an option eventually. Rioli's lead materialised for him. Isaac Smith zipping around inside the 50, but decides to go via Suckling. And then Duray swept it to the outer side. Burgoyne front on to the lead of Lewis. There's dogs everywhere here, and now they can make the escape. Grant just took them a little bit longer than they would have liked. McRae turns around. Goes for Cramery. Langford in attendance, but
good grab.
Yeah, superior judgment.
Got Minson deep.
Murphy, can he hit him? He goes for Big Wilbur, 60 metres out from goal.
He'll have to wait now.
He will. You'd like to see a half-backer come past him for a handball receive.
Tries to just ease the ball, and the Hawks getting each other's road.
Well, the trouble was, Boyd had worked extremely hard to get to the top of the square. That's where the target should have went.
Stratton. And they're just about out of here through Suckling. Burgoyne advancing along the wing. Beautifully placed for Rioli. Nothing doing for him further. Now there is.
Gunston's out.
Yeah. And it's Gunston who can wait. And in his sight, Sam Mitchell. And he has a quick look behind. Joe Anderson wasn't on guard. Mitchell was ready to react. And they run their second goal to quarter through. And it's all smiles for the Hawks, who lead by 37 points.
Again. Well, look at Minson here. Look at Boyd working on the top of screen to get to the dangerous spot, and yet he goes short. He goes long over the top to Boyd. Only two things can happen there. Boyd marks it, or it comes to ground and brings their crummers in.
That's right.
He goes short, goal to the opposition. As we said, Hawthorn are the best defensive team of guarding that 45-metre area.
But you think to the way Hawthorn would handle that situation, and whether it is long, but you've got the likes of Birchall and Suckling and Hodge, they'd be screaming at McAvoy, working as fast as they can to get over to get a handball receive off him. If you're a halfbacker for the Dogs, that was your opportunity, or a wingman, to get past the ruckman and get a nice handball receive with this breeze to have a shot at goal or get it to the right spot.
Free to the Hawks in the middle, just what the Dogs didn't need to try and respond. Segler being pursued by Goods, still able to keep it in teammates' hands, and now it's back for Hodge. Just had the 7 disposals this quarter, Hodge. Should take him up to 32. That's not his best kick, up towards the 50. Still not quite handled by Dalehouse, though. Gunston again as they break. Gibson guides it into the pocket for Rioli. Has a quick look. And Mitchell is playing as the forward target half the time at the moment for the Hawks. That time wasn't ever reached. Dalehouse got the full treatment. Rioli, who was down but got up quickly. Langford. Mitchell. Duray just held Honeychurch at bay.
McAvoy's on his own, dude, but Cordy's picking him up now. Yeah, he should have went there, because it's going to take his absolute best kick to kick this one with this breeze.
He's a beautiful kick of the footy, isn't he? But challenging, as we said, with the breeze to consider. It's probably moving a little bit more slightly more across the ground than it was before when it was directly down the middle, but still very difficult. It's a good look at it. No, couldn't defy those natural laws there, and the ball worked through for a behind.
A lot better this quarter from the Doggies. 73% of time in forward half for them. And they're winning the clearances, which we spoke about at half-time, 7-3. So they've been a lot better, but they've got to put it on the scoreboard. Hawthorn are so good at that.
Putting themselves under unnecessary pressure there, but...
And they're having less interchanges too, Baz, obviously, with 2 men down. 13 interchanges and Hawthorn have had the 19. Doesn't sound a lot, but it's 6 extra players getting some much-needed lactic out of their muscles.
Right.
Still 7.5 to go in this third term. Margin sits at 38. Hodge, Suckling got the call from Mitchell. Cyril's there. He saw him. Roughhead next in line. The 2 roughheads. A couple of roughheads, in fact. 40 from goal. And Birchall gets spun away. Well done, Cremery. Now the Dogs. Everyone getting involved. Mitchell coming hard the other way. Through the bottleneck. Birchall. Roughhead's just ducked out the back, Jack. And he takes the mark.
But he can do that. He can read it because he can see numbers around the contest, and he can take the punt knowing that, look, I've got quality players around this. They're putting good pressure on. It's likely to get turned over, and he's worked into the space.
So Roughhead already with 4 goals to his name. Can he be the one to land a long goal into the wind? He's had a good look today at what's worked and what hasn't. It was a fine line, but in the end, it was just fine for the Hawks. And now it's 44 points.
Well, with him and Hodge, you can see Roughhead. Just have a look at the work here from Roughhead there. He's just ducking out the back, as you said, Jono.
Just folds out. Look, he's half limping.
Actually, you're right. He's not even looking for the lead. And then he goes, OK.
There's nothing wrong with him. he's limped out, and then he's got on his bike again.
He's duped his younger cousin. He's duped him. He's done the double deuce on him. I'm injured. I'm out of the game.
Injured. No, ball's not going to come near me.
Didn't he find a step when he saw the space?
Did he what?
That's a Brett Johnson special. I've seen you do that a few times, John.
Oh, wow. Look, he's not limping now either.
No. There's some sort of game.
Double whistle. So we'll have another ball up required in the middle. 14,791 to 7,547. Crowd of just under 16,000. Enjoying a cool but sunny afternoon in Launceston. McAvoy brings it down to the feet. Rovat camped underneath there. Yeah, here's the goal. I believe he scored. He goes for a spectacular goal.
Oh, sat on him. He did.
Langford the third up. Free possession goes to Rovat. Thumps it again. They all get a run at it. Who was in the middle of it? Lewis just picked it off the top of the pack. Puopolo, he knew he was in trouble. Lewis thrust the boot there, not 15. Tough for Rovat. He scrambled all over him.
Even Hawthorn know the ball's going there. It's much harder for them to defend. I like that kick there in these conditions. As I said, Hawthorn are onto the longer one now, but it just means their Bulldogs crummers really need to get to work and get off their men.
Stevens went the first time. They dig it out. Goods wanted to get under that left boot, and you can see why. It's almost...
Oh, boy, what a grab. No, that's the future. There it is. He's been terrific today, Jono.
Well, it's on probably the best in the business as well, isn't it? Well, Alex Rance is at the moment, I think, but Brian Lake has been so good as a fullback for so long. In the top couple, definitely. Push off there, good stretch over the top.
Fantastic grab. He's lining up for his third. And it's been a tough afternoon for the Bulldogs. They have had their challenges injury-wise. They're obviously well behind on the scoreboard. But Tom Boyd's kicked 3 goals, and that's a wonderful sign for the future. He's been more than just competitive today, which is all that's been asked. We know Luke Beveridge has got sick of being asked about Tom Boyd every week, but now he's got some evidence to put forward.
Well, he's taken the 5-2 and these contested, and that's the kick that puts any defender under pressure. And we know when he runs and jumps, you've got to do your very best. But the thing I liked about that one was his body work on Brian Lake. I think Brian Lake maybe just assumed that he wasn't going to go after the fly after the body work, but I really like the way he pushed off, and then he got the ball at its highest point, and that's really good forward craft from Tom Boyd.
Plus the Bulldogs were able to... Hawthorn, you spoke about their third ups. Bulldogs went third up in that contest, got it out into the open space, which resulted in a good entry.
So just under 5 minutes left for the Dogs to make use of this breeze. They need to do that. They're inside again. Kick from Rovat. Could have been at the free. Oh, McRae mown down by Isaac Smith. Was it a shove in the back?
I think the umpire thought about it. He was right in the spot there.
Yeah, I thought it was.
It was a great chase from Isaac Smith, but...
That's in the back.
That's in the back.
It's backish. Anyway, they've got the footy now. Just a little bit further out from goal. Stringer. Oh, well, wasn't what they were after. The Hawks, Langford. Just a little bit too easy there. McAvoy gets it out. Oh, it hasn't cleared the danger, though.
Yeah,
Not happy.
But see, he yelled run then. So I think he wanted to, instead of just bombing it out like that into the square,
use your legs.
Run the ball, use your legs.
Use your legs.
Support each other by hand to get it out of a dangerous area.
Jared Grant, 10 disposals, the same number he had for a whole match last week.
Yeah, 10 clearances to 4. That's where it's all started for the Bullies this quarter. 16 inside 50s to 8, but they've only kicked the 2 goals.
Well, if he can kick truly here, they will have outscored the Hawks. That's not the right side to push it.
2-goal 5 is they're peppering the scoreboard. Not reward for effort though. Flip that round to 5-2. That's a dominant quarter.
Into Burgoyne. Down the line again, Langford. Easy pickings there for Talia. Comes across stylishly.
He's improving with every game, isn't he, Talia?
Ken giving the high flyers marking practice, or at least flying practice. Not that easy to take a grab in the crowd. Ambitious handball from Gibson was good, though. Sets up play to Lewis. That took a little bit longer than he would have liked to get there, but Isaac Smith knew where to turn and kicks into the middle for Whitecross. Bruce inside the 50. Gunston's just on the outskirts. He marks. Puopolo bolts back to goal. Bruce makes a double lead, and look at this man who's just saunters the Sunday stroll into the 50.
He came off the interchange bench, so he was able to work through and just flow around nicely with the flow of the ball.
The defenders looked around and said who was on him, but you called it beautifully, Jono, straight off the bench. So there's nothing that the defenders or the midfielders could do on that occasion.
Just 33 disposals for Luke Hodge, only 8 this quarter. And he's kicked 2 goals. So this for his third. It'll take his best. In fact, not sure that he had a shot, but you can see the result. It wasn't too flash. Holding up for a long time in the breeze.
Well, he's had the 20 kicks. That left leg looks a little tired.
A bit tired. Hawks are able to maintain possession, at least for the moment. Hodge notch up another for him. That makes 35. Over Lewis's head. A little bit of confusion amongst the Hawks. They run into each other. Talia. And the Hawks fans say, what about that for deliberate?
We know what his intention was, but he disguised it beautifully.
You mentioned earlier Luke Hodge's best is 40 disposals in a game. It's the fifth time that he's reached 35 disposals, but he's got over a quarter to go.
Yeah, it's a luxury to have Hodge, isn't it? Because this quarter he spent half it sort of behind the ball with the Bulldogs going with the win. The next quarter he'll be putting the ball in.
Cranberry not quite. Hodge to Lewis again. No tall targets in the square, but you don't need to be tall.
He's a beautiful mark for his size, isn't he?
So
He's a pocket rocket. Just strong hands. Try and bend this around.
Poppy. Umpire's onto the nicknames.
And Hodge can't take the mark, so not really a small forward if you don't take a shot from there, John. Oh, look at the Hawks with numbers. Gunston. Hodge back over his head. Play on the call. Left side as you have to kick off the right boot. Always interesting to watch. Hartung got dumped by Dalhouse, who was pleased to see someone lighter and shorter than him. Slammed him into the Launceston turf. We're under a minute to go. 3 goals 1 to 2 goals 5 for the quarter.
Bulldogs' tackling pressure's been better this quarter as well.
Isaac Smith, white cross. Roughhead, is there a way out? Hawthorn over the top of Stevens, claims him. Nothing doing, says the umpire. In fact, there is something doing. It's a free kick against him.
I can't remember a game, Hutto, that I've been to live where I've seen a player have 37 to three-quarter time. That is just, that's enormous.
Kick goes back to the wing, and it's coming in once more because Josh Gibson takes the mark. Eyes open into the middle. Lewis, he's starting to get plenty of it as well. 28 disposals for Jordan Lewis. Had to wait for the bounce, just dictated the circumstances. Wobbly old ball. Here's McAvoy versus Dalhouse. Desperate. Talia. 3 seconds remaining, and there's not much more the Dogs can do. They held the Hawks at bay through those last seconds, despite all their best efforts in that quarter. They weren't able to bridge the gap. In fact, Hawthorn's lead has been extended ever so slightly to 37 points as we break for the last time. It's the Hawks 14-7-91. That man, Luke Hodge, has 37 disposals of his own. The Dogs 8-6-54, a 6-goal ball game here at Launceston. So it's been a tough day for the Bulldogs, certainly from a medical point of view. And you can see just how difficult this is for Mitch Wallace with the back problem. He came from the ground very late in the first quarter, shots from the rooms. He actually can't bend down
Can't
there.
reach into his locker even to look. He's asked for some help to get some gear out. Yeah, that's severe, isn't it? When that happens, it's going to be a sore boy.
Hard to watch, really.
It is, isn't it? And it wasn't much. The contact wasn't huge, Hutto. It just must be a severe spasm or something that's going on there.
Three-quarter time and Hawthorn lead by 37 points. So both times when the Bulldogs have had use of the breeze, haven't been able to capitalise. And in a way, that quarter would have been even more frustrating than the first because they played better footy than they did in the first quarter, but it couldn't make the most of it when they went inside.
They did. They had a lot more entries that quarter. Tom Boyd looked likely as well. They had repeat entries, which they like to do and build that pressure, which we've spoken about throughout the course of this match. But the Hawks with their quality defenders, and that man on screen, Lukey Hodge, 37, Hutto, which is the 4th highest at three-quarter time. Scott Thompson had 42 versus the Gold Coast at three-quarter time. Hodge up to 37.
OK, let's get down to Barry Hall.
Yeah, thanks, Hutto. What half-time we spoke about what the Doggies need to do, and that was try and restrict the uncontested marks from Hawthorn's point of view. If they get 80 a game, they win 97% of the time, which is an amazing stat. They had 30 in that third term, which is amazing. But what they need to do now, obviously the uncontested marking, the Bulldogs really need to pull that up. Obviously, it starts in the centre, and this is exactly what we're talking about, the work rate, the sink, the kicking, the passing. That's one thing. We all know Hawthorn do it, but the hardest thing to do is try and stop it. So it's a really big challenge for the Doggies.
No, it is, especially 2 men down on the bench as well. Interchange is 95 to 70. So big discrepancy there. They've been pretty brave, the Bulldogs, but they need to hang on here. And look, it's Luke Hodge and Roughhead. Can Roughhead kick 8 or 9? That's the question.
Finish this off. So last quarter, Hawks with the breeze, which may have dropped a fraction, but still a significant advantage. Let's see what the Dogs can find. Off the left boot, Minson wobbles one up into the 50. Well trapped by Rovac. Good service for Kramer and his left boot. Jared Grant can loop up over the top. Stevens stayed down. And Burgoyne makes sure that it gets over the line. Sean Burgoyne, just the 11 disposals today. Way back in again. Segler, Minson, Langford. Murphy tracked it beautifully through the air. Wasn't going to let anyone in. And quick to move it. Johannesson. Hawks have pretty much flooded everybody back, bar Jared Roughhead. Segler in front. Minson, Boyd, both had a bit of it. Not enough. Dalhouse taken to ground. So a good start here for the Bulldogs. They've locked it in their forward 50. Segler. Dangerous kick off the ground. Could have gone anywhere from Burgoyne. Bruce knew he had to get it out. Dalehouse back to the square. Good wrestle. Lake. Ball could go anywhere. And Suckling clearing the danger.
Just come through as well, Hutto, from Glenn Luff, of course, champion data, with Ablett on 53 is the most ever since 1999. Most disposals from round 10 versus Collingwood 2012. So Luke Hodge on 37. Needs another 16 in this quarter.
Just needs 16 in the last quarter. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. There's one of them.
There's one.
Roughhead marks.
If they can get it through, there's 2-on-1 really deep, but the Bulldogs have got back now.
Lewis takes something off the kick. Hartung, Langford, spinning, hard to stop. Smith, Segler, Langford again. Stream into goal, some pressure as he kicked, and that was enough. So, well done from Talia.
He's toiled, he'll sleep well tonight. Michael Talia, that's for sure. He's on Roughhead early and flip him over to his Roughhead's cousin, but he's had the 25 disposals, Michael Talia.
Hicken, Segler, so close. Look at that great awareness again of his body and where the ball was, where his opponents were. Duray, Smith didn't take the mark, but boy, did he stop the Dogs getting away. An angry Rovat tried to return the favour. Isaac Smith with an in-and-out torpedo.
Yeah, an inside torpy.
Took off out on the full. He's had his moments with his kicking boot today, Isaac Smith. 26 disposals, only going at 50% efficiency. Has been tough with the breeze at times. Murphy has had plenty of it for the Dogs. His 20th disposal, straight back for Brian Lake, who looks back into the middle. Kicks it back up into the sun a bit. Suckling. Just trying to sort out what's ahead. So it's a bounce.
All gone. You can see that coming. Brian Lake
didn't know that.
Yeah. No, just the awareness on that occasion. I think Brian just slowed down a little bit as well, not wanting to get suspended at all by getting him in the head. So he controlled the bump, but it was a perfect bump. Nice controlled bump.
Arioli, coalface. Some uncertainty for Langford. Lewis comes through. A little opening for him, and it's out on the full as well.
There's been a few there today, Hutto, in that area of the ground.
See here, just coming through. Perfect bump.
Yeah, well done.
Oh, they played on and turned it over. And this time, no, he's hit the post. Isaac Smith. So I suspect it'll be a fairly busy defensive 50 in this quarter for the Dogs. Up into the wind again. Segler and McAvoy both there to make life difficult for Minson. Dalehouse, well played. Jong trying to put the step on Birchall. Dalehouse followed up to give him an outlet. And now the kick's going to come in from Boyd, and it was well guided for Grant. Honeychurch burst through, but misdirected into the pocket.
It was an interesting play, and I could see what Jared Grant was trying to do, but in that area of the ground, and the pressure was always going to come onto his kicking leg, so maybe just come back and then open it up so he can get it into the corridor.
Numbers build up around the throw-in again. Rovat. Straight back into trouble. Stringer and Webb to full forward. Little Honeychurch got to go against two Hawks. Good protection by Josh Gibson, allowed Lake to ease back onto the mark. His 10th mark, Brian Lake. Now Stratton. Get a handle on it here, the Hawks. Isaac Smith. That's a better kick.
Bruce deep.
Finds Segler, and the breeze will take it all the way to Bruce. Gave Webb a bit of an opportunity.
Yeah, it's a good spoil.
And he's got it over the line and out of bounds.
That's a terrific spoil without giving a free kick away and playing on the angle, coming with the flight of the ball. That is a terrific bit of play.
$93-55 still. 14-9 plays 8-7 at Aurora Stadium. Hartung. Hartung again takes the mark. Lewis. Gunston trying to get there. In the end, they spoil. Puopolo had the first crack and the second. Did he drag it under? They've certainly captured him. And
well, we spoke about the magical number of 80 uncontested marks, 80 plus uncontested marks. They win 97% of the time. Well, they're up to 79 now. And they've got this game well and truly under control.
Gibson just got it through to Hawthorn from the boundary line. Didn't go for gold, instead went for McAvoy. Then John over the top, effective enough. Webb back outside. Good body work by Birchall.
Got a good leg on him, Webb, hasn't he? Against the Bruce.
Yeah, renowned as an outstanding kick as a junior. Boyd, Cramery, hoping that Dixon can move on to this one and run inside 50. Left Burgoyne behind Dixon and punches it. Oh, just across the face. Would have been an outstanding goal for the Dogs.
Yeah, that would have been their best passage of play. That went through the two big sticks.
So they're defending pretty well, aren't they, over the ground? Yeah. Isaac Smith using Suckling. And Stratton a fumble. Put himself under pressure. Birchall, little swipe to get rid of pesky Honeychurch. Now out to the wing. Hawthorn. This is Lewis. Change the angle. He does. Goes to the blonde locks of Langford. He decides to keep things moving. Hawthorn renowned
that was
for
just
his hard
fluid,
running.
wasn't it? The whole way along. It was composed. It was fluid. It just was exactly the way. That was the training drill during the week, during the main session. If we can execute this under pressure, we'll be away and we'll score every time. And they're going to get that now through this man on screen.
A couple of deep breaths. Jared Roughhead for 6. It's leftish and it's not coming back.
Thump's been made down here, boys. Jed Anderson has come into the game and the Poppy, Puopolo's put the red vest on.
Okay, a bit of a surprise. Kicked 1 goal 3, had 16 disposals. I guess they probably share it around a little bit. Maybe there's an injury. Ball's going to drop short. Jordan Roughhead being harassed. Picken, the next to feel it. He knew where Stringer was. That's effective play. That one's missed, though. Segler set up nicely for the big ruckman. Just straight into it, Jed Anderson. Just getting the feel for it. Isaac Smith continues to be busy. Dogs crowd them out nicely. Well done, Cramery. Talia searching out wide for Boyd. Sets him a bit of a running task. Lake not sure whether to go up or back. They've got him on the hop here. Honeychurch should be able to mark. He needs to turn around because there's dogs everywhere inside the 50, but this is going to be difficult.
Oh, this will be... It's nearly impossible from this position this afternoon. McAvoy's positioned himself well for the kick, which is likely to go across the face of goal.
He's waiting for Boyd to get there, and that's pretty good work rate from Tommy Boyd.
And Minson. Minson's arrived on the scene. And he had the shot.
He had the right swing on the ball.
Yeah, he did.
Honeychurch.
Mitchell. Little arrow, and they've suddenly got the centre half back. Langford. The Hawks have looked a little bit uncertain in this last quarter. Good pressure from the Dogs. Maybe they've just taken the foot off a fraction.
They just slowed things down. They're just playing a style of controlled football. Just trying to create uncontested marks, open up a bit of space to lead into like this. Take your time to do that. They don't need to rush their disposal.
It's just opened a few windows for the Dogs, and there's another example, although Cramery gave it back on a platter. Now they can sweep through the middle through Isaac Smith. Punches it deep. Bit of a mismatch in size. Murphy did really well, though. Hodge had a crack, and Cyril just comes in, and he misses too.
Well, that kick off the ground was Luke Hodges equalled his PB.
Yep.
With 40.
Safely into McRae. Just his 15th disposal coming up. Oh, Murphy felt the heat. And they got in each other's way a bit there, Anderson and Roughhead. Out of bounds. So The Hawks have had trouble finding the goals in this quarter. 4 behinds. The Dogs 3. Minson, rough head. Gunston found a way. Hartung, he finds a way. That's better. And converts. Billy Hartung with the goal. And the Hawks get out beyond 40 points once again. They led by 44.
Just his working around the stoppage here to get forward. We might be able to see how he actually gets out. Roughhead again, he times it so well. Look at him, comes in late as the forward, gets into the hit zone of the Bulldogs, creates the spill, and there's Hartung just out the back of the contest. Bulldogs' fat side winger got pushed into the contest. He just steps out the outside and able to just run into an open goal. It's good setups, isn't it, from Hawthorn? The way they execute, but right through the whole game. 4 quarters of just high-level execution. And young players like Billy Hartung have to buy in from the outset to get a game week in, week out.
McAvoy got the tap, but it's the Dogs going forward. Birchall looked a little uncertain. Mitchell really looks anything but assured. They sweep forward again. Lewis just on the bounce, a little bit untidy for Bruce, but he gobbled it up. Hodge, possession 41. That's a PB for Luke Hodge.
Well, we've just witnessed a world record here today for Luke Hodge on an individual basis. His own world record.
Let me work that one through again, John.
I had to change things up on the run then, didn't I?
You did, Jono?
Yeah. His own world record.
I think just leave it now, John.
I will.
Rough head. That's going to be tough too with the breeze blowing the other way. Just a minor. Margin 45.
Stop looking at me now.
So Lucas Webb. He's impressed. 19-year-old, big fly over the top from Cordy. Gets it to Granlin Jong, and they escape from half-back. Dalhouse been busy all day. Honeychurch tried to sell it on Smith. He wasn't buying. Back to Dalhouse again.
Oh,
great effort from Boyd. He actually knew where he was hitting it down to as well. Rovat, almost a throw. And Dong, they're up to the 50 again. Son a factor. Oh, didn't stop Duray. He's been terrific today. He's got a bit of flair about him, Jono, too, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's a tough competitor, Taylor Duray. He really has worked his way nicely. Just as a regular now in this side, just so solid in that defensive end.
No Mark Segler. Restrained well was Honeychurch. Dumped by Suckling. Segler got it out. Picken being harassed and the pressure told. Mitchell just maintained possession of the ball. Back to Hodge again. And then Lewis eases the ball. Rioli, does he go? He goes. And goes.
He gets high. And when he's up there, he takes the chest marks.
Cyril having a bit of a grin.
Oh.
So he's just got to keep it somewhere inside that right post. Try and extend the lead beyond 50. Ooh. Didn't aim it to the right post, Johnny.
No, not great, but here's the leap here. He loves getting up and just doing that little turn in the air, doesn't he, to protect the ball. It's a big jump.
Segler. Yeah, he's got his hands to that one again.
He's played well today, Segler. Really enjoyed his game. He started this game well.
You've got to clear it in forward, okay? Hold up, here. It's going back. Bring it back, okay? Can't block boys on the money.
You can only block once the umpire's called play on. So Brian Lake just coming in a little bit too early then.
Suckling. Set sail. Gunston, Rioli, all had a leap. Langford suddenly found himself a metre clear. Hartung, tough for Duray. Back to Langford. Has a habit of bobbing up in dangerous places around goal, but that time it was dangerous for the Hawks cause, although the Dogs are going to be careful here. Had huge numbers, but can they take the ball with them? They were a handball away from disaster. Straight back into the traffic again. Try getting a clean hand pass, boys. It's tough in there. Late in the game, on tired legs. Big Will had a crack. Back into the middle. Another big tackle laid by Burgoyne. Goods feeling it. And we'll have a ball up in the middle.
Yeah, there's plenty going on here. Honeychurch started it. That push forward from the Bulldogs, a big tackle on Langford, and then away the play on. But the reason they had to stop is because of the play on. They had no one forward of the ball, tried to handball their way out of trouble. But when you do that against this great Hawthorn side, they close you up very quickly.
Duray again to Lake. Got lots of resources on this side of the ground. Brian had a little bit of a moment there. Just thought he'd hold on to the ball for as long as he could. Back to Lewis. Angled kick was on out wide, but he goes a more direct path to the busy Langford. Roughhead stands back on the square. He'll get a run at this one. Can he jump up and take the mark? He's got a free. Just got the shove. And big Ruffy can go back and line up for his 6th goal. Luke Beveridge didn't like it too much.
No, this will be his 9th shot at goal today, Roughhead.
And he just pops it through. Hawthorn have 16, and Jared Roughhead has 6 goals.
Well, he's had 24 disposals to match those 6 goals as well. So his game this afternoon has just been of the highest of quality. He's had 11 contested possessions as well, Jared Roughhead. So he's got that great mix, hasn't he? He just falls out in the top 5 in disposals across the entire day. When you look at it, Luke Hodge is number 1. He's at the 42. Lewis is creeping right up there with 36 now. Smith with 33, Birchall 28, and Duray, the 2 defenders, 28 as well. So all the Hawthorn players in the top 5 disposal winners on the ground. The most for the Bulldogs is Talia with 26 and Dalhouse with 25.
And throwing Robert Murphy. And yeah, it's a great return, isn't it, from Roughhead. The disappointing part about the Bullies is the tackles, Jono. They've been smacked in the possessions, yet Hawthorn have had 63 to the Bulldogs only 46.
Round 1, the Bulldogs had 94. Round 2, they had 73. So they're right up there in those tackle stats. This is a big drop-off this afternoon.
Hodge misread on the way in. Oh, boy. Botched a little bit there by big Cordy. He's going to come out Hawthorn's way. Hartung. Here's Hodge. Chips it up. He wants some more Cyril. Magic! What Cyril says goes. He's got the mark at the top of the square. Cyril with the thrills late in this game down at Aurora Stadium.
Oh, you could see it, couldn't you, Hutto? You picked it up early, and up he went.
Now he's just got to kick the goal.
Well, he missed the last one after the hanger.
Surely this time. Right through the middle and up over the stand. And the Hawks lead extended down to 58. Broad smiles there.
Here it is. This is the first one in this last quarter.
That wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
This is the up big go. Over Talia as well.
Another angle here, better angle,
Yeah,
I
we
reckon,
need
this
a better
one.
angle than that.
This is a better one. That is beautiful.
Probably wasn't as high as we thought.
No.
Yeah, I know, but what's Talia? 6'3",
Yeah.
6'4"? It's a big jump.
Yeah, I felt like Michael Taylor a couple of times, Jono, throughout the career, but he's been terrific too, Cyril Rioli. But Luke Hodge, he now equals the club record for the most disposals with Jordan Lewis. He needs one more to be the all-time
club
record for Hawthorn in a single game.
They've had some big possession winners over the years too, the Hawks. Charging through Stringer, bouncing back Dalhouse. Plenty of Hawks there, but Robat did play on. He might have regretted it for a moment, but he's done well to adjust. Dixon feeding it back for Murphy. He's able to scramble past Whitecross. The best kick inside has to be said. Gibson was aware of the danger. Lake was just charging through. Langford like a bullet a gate as always. Further to Lewis. Look, it is a bit like a training drill, isn't it? It's a handball drill, boys. Let's see if we can take it the whole length of the ground. Well, blow the whistle. They've turned it over. Murphy, again, back up into the sun. Minson. See the Dogs, they're going to use their feet. They've got some numbers inside 50. The Hawks now starting to push back and cover some bases, but still a chance if he gets it into Boyd here in the square.
He hasn't looked out of place, Lucas Webb, this afternoon. I think he's done quite well in his first game. He's used the ball on that left side quite well.
Well, he really didn't do any favours for Tom Boyd with the way that ball was brought in there. Now Segler thought about a bounce and then thought, uh-oh, maybe not. Isaac Smith been another prolific ball winner. His 34th disposal coming up. Oh, Brian Lake takes the mark, gives a headache to poor old Michael Talia.
Is that Talia again,
Yeah.
is it? Oh.
Now Suckling, practicing his long bombs. Gets it to Gunston.
Got rough head deep on Murphy.
Yeah, he's got 2 to jump over. Certainly a chance. Jed Anderson goes down there as well. He's giving him every opportunity to jump up. The spoil was on. Isaac Smith.
Here he is.
Rough head from the pocket. He'll know that's impossible, so doesn't have a crack. Lewis.
Oh, Gunston.
Timing was perfect from Jack Gunston.
How's a kick from Lewis, though? It was a perfect kick. He saw Gunston lead from the goal square. Didn't have to break stride, Gunston, and they're impossible to defend, Jono. If you're trailing in and Gunston doesn't have to break stride, then jumps high at its highest point to mark the ball, as we see at the bottom of the screen. Nothing anyone can do. The kick was just far too good from Lewis.
There it is there.
Gunston threads it through for the Hawks, and it's out to 64 points now. I mentioned Isaac Smith with 35 disposals for Hawthorn. That's well past his previous best, which was 31 against Collingwood in round 23 last year. And he's up to 35. Jordan Lewis on 39. And Luke Hodge, as we've discussed rather regularly, he's up on 44.
What about Grant Birchall, though? When you look across the effectiveness of the top 5, Birchall's had 20 kicks at 95% by foot. That's just the class across half-back. That's why Roughhead and Gunston and these guys just love getting in the vision of these kickers, because they just use it so well on a regular basis.
We can add Taylor Duray to that list as well. His previous best was 21 disposals. He's up at 28. And he's really enjoyed his work this afternoon.
Out of those 29 disposals with Birchall too, Jono, 20 have been handball receives. So the run and carry. That means Hawthorn have controlled the corridor, because it's hard to get handball receives out wide. So they've used this ground. They play this ground extremely well.
Don't they?
Luke Beveridge would know that.
On its way back again. Vincent fends it off. Langford, Lively, Burgoyne. Plenty of dogs there. Well read and showed the necessary courage. Talia to take the mark. Feeds it off. Goods with the kick up into the 50 or towards it. At least McRae's overcommitted there. Called on. He's kicked wide. Gibson and Dalhouse. And Gibson's going to escape for the Hawks. Again, all by hand. Hartung puts the foot down. Turns the pace on across half-back. Then the give. Wasn't ideal for Whitecross. Had to adapt. Get it back to Burgoyne. Now to Roughhead. Now to Mitchell. Out to the open country. And the ball goes over the line and out of bounds.
Yeah, kick the touch. A couple of minutes left to go in the game. There's Hodge, Isaac Smith, Brian Lake, all with excellent games. Puopolo's got the red vest on. There's a bit of ice underneath that blanket on the quad, just a little bit sore, you'd think. We'll get an assessment after the game. But Hodge, we need to get him out there for that one more disposal.
Yes, one shy of the Hawthorn record. Maybe Jordan Lewis went to the coach and said, you better get Hodgie off.
Well, he's up to 40 himself now, Jordan Lewis.
I don't think Luke Hodge would care less.
No.
Winson. Langford stands up through the tackle. Rovat. How have you assessed his performance, Jono? We'll get back to that in a moment because the Dogs are on the move. Kobe Stevens gets a good look at this one. Tenacious defence though. Stratton, very effective. Cleared it for Gibson. And now along the line. Whitecross. Stratton taking no chances. Ball back to the wing. Jed Anderson came through. Murphy hard the other way. It's still up for grabs. Anderson says to Picken, you're not getting out of there. And now Bruce and Cyril had to work out whose ball it was. Bruce tried to find Duray. Picken hurls it forward. Dixon escaping. Lynn John has to encounter Gunston and still swerve the kick back. No free kick. Gibson a little perplexed as to what to do with it initially, but then made a decision. Mitchell comes to this side, hopeful more than anything. Oh, it falls the Hawks' way. Bruce scampering after it. Burgoyne, it's all
Roughhead's all by himself.
Too good to be true for the Hawks. Roughhead's going to run this in. Number 7 coming up. He has a bounce. And the Hawks lead by 70 points at Aurora Stadium. Just a reminder to everyone in the competition, they are still the team to beat. Welcome to coaching at AFL level, Luke Beveridge.
Oh, what a game by Jared Roughhead. It was all by himself. I'm not sure whether he had that fake limp going on again. But I don't know how he was able to do that. He had the entire 50-metre arc to himself. And Burgoyne here, he's thinking, oh, my eyes are lighting up here. I'm going to kick one from 65 on the run. And there was Roughhead, all by himself. Strolls in for his 7th this afternoon. 10 scoring shots. He's kicked 7 goals, 3. Been an outstanding performer. Hodge gets the 3, but it'll be tough this afternoon for the 2 and 1.
Jared Roughhead.
A lot of great players for Hawthorn this afternoon.
His best ever in a game is 8. He's done that twice, once at the MCG and once here last year against the West Coast Eagles. So he's got 30 seconds to do it. We know that Hawthorn players can kick multiple goals late in games, don't we, Jono?
Yes.
Down here at Aurora.
13 of them.
Kick goes back to the wing. 20 seconds for the Dogs. And they get a late goal. They haven't stopped working. They've been low on numbers, of course, with losing Wallace and also Morris for the entire day after quarter time. Well, he's a big kick, Isaac Smith. He doesn't go for the long one. Instead, pokey little kick into the middle. Roughhead, Langford. Siren sounds. Emphatic victory by Hawthorn. And as we mentioned, just a little reminder to everyone, as if we needed reminding about how strong the Hawks are. Their stars on display again. 7 goals for Jared Roughhead. 44 disposals for Luke Hodge. Lewis in the 40s, Isaac Smith, Taylor Duray with personal best, but not so much about disposals, although they had 476 of them. Hawthorn, phenomenal. They are a magnificent team, and they remain so. They've won by 70 points, and the Dogs have suffered their first loss under Luke Beveridge.
Yeah, they'll be disappointed, no doubt, the Bulldogs, because of the fact their pressure was down in today's game. That's been the highlight of rounds 1 and 2. They just dropped away in that area today, but on the back of that as well, Hutto, they did have their injuries throughout the game. Wallace, Morris going down early, their rotations were down, so they just didn't have the spark on the bench or to come off the bench in that rotational area of the game. But that man on screen there loved his game against Cyril. Sam Mitchell worked his way into it nicely, and Luke Hodge, of course, with the 44 disposals, was just fantastic, and he's down there at the moment with Barry Hall.
Hodge, and like a fine bottle of wine, you're just getting better with age.
I wouldn't say that, mate. It's look, all the boys play. Well, we knew today that the Doggies have been on fire the last 2 weeks. Obviously, we know their game style pretty well. Bevo's implemented pretty well for these blokes, and they seem to enjoy it. So we knew it was going to be tough early, but if we won the contested footy, we'd be able to get the score on the board.
Well, the Dogs have been really good in that area, and tackling and harassing. You won't match them today.
Yeah, I think you look across and you say they're a young side, but they're big bodies for 4, 5, 6 years in the system. So, look, we knew obviously losing Bont and Boydie before the game was going to hurt them a little bit, but look, the attitude that they come with, knew was going to be a fair tussle.
Another good story today was Brendan Whitecross back. Must be rapt to have him.
Yeah, I think his first 5 minutes, he said he ran around. I wasn't sure what he was doing, but like you said, for the attitude of someone like that who's been through a fair bit in a couple of successful years for us, his attitude's been second to none. So the fact he can come back out here, get back, especially down here in Tassie, he loves it down here, and it's good for him to get through.
And from a personal point of view, you're one stat off a club record in terms of stats. That's exactly what you play for. Don't worry about premierships. It's all about getting the record for stats.
Yeah, that's our aim. That's midfield. So I thought at times we worked the ball well. We stuffed up a few times as well. But look, we watched the game last night. Port Adelaide and North had a fair crack, and we know we have to lift up the intensity next week as well.
Well, Port next week, it's a really big game.
Massive. They're especially at home. Obviously, we'll look at what Sydney did did against them. But look, yeah, Port Adelaide, the last 2 years have just been getting better and better, and it's going to be no different next week.
Great effort today.
Thanks, mate. Ta.
Well done, Baz. I think Jordan Lewis is going to make his way over next as we watch Luke Beveridge make the slower walk when you lose a game, which is fair enough, as he assesses his team's performance. A loss of 70 points. Back to you, Baz.
Yeah, thanks, Dano. Well, really even contributions today. Big numbers in terms of the midfield, but you need to do that to get over the Dogs.
Yeah, it was. We knew they've got great depth. You know, those young guys they've got coming through it, really progressing really well, and we knew we had to have a four-quarter effort. And you know, we got on top a little bit late, but it was still a hard game. You know, they're hard-running players, and they defend really well, so it wasn't easy.
And a real unselfish game from the club today. 10 goal kickers again, but you could just see going forward there was a lot of sharing going around.
Yeah, I think that's what we pride ourselves on. You know, we get a lot of ball wide, and to have snaps from wide is a little bit unfair, and we try and centre it and share it around as much as possible. And our forward, you know, we've got good depth down there, so you know, when we can kick it to a player in better position, why not?
And how was the coach in the breaks? We looked up a few times in the coach's box. He was a bit anxious. You had control of the game. He's a perfectionist, isn't he?
He struggles in these sort of games. Even though we're winning by a fair margin, he picks apart the game better than anyone. So no doubt he'll be a little bit happy with the win, but we'll still have improvements to come.
What about your own performance? You're just getting more and more consistent. You've really turned yourself into a real A-grader.
Yeah, I think you know, just that consistency last year was really good, and I tried to follow on from that this year, and it's been good so far. But you know, it's only early. We've only played 3 games, so you know, just got to continue that throughout the year.
Great effort. Go and enjoy it.
Thanks, Baz.
All right, I think he's got another one coming. There we go.
Good.
Ruffy.
Yes.
7 goals. Fantastic effort. Is it a bit weird playing on your cousin?
Oh, no, we've done it a couple of times now, so it's not too bad. I saw Nan during the week, and she hoped that we didn't play on each other, but not to worry.
And I just spoke about the sharing of the workload. 10 goal kickers again today. It's a real feature in the Hawks game.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it just shows that we don't have to always go to 1 or 2 blokes, and if we're getting double figures consistently, it means that we're sharing the load, and hopefully defence is staying 6 on 6 rather than dropping off and coming to us bigger blokes.
And you've got to get back on the horse again next week. Port Adelaide, massive game.
Yeah, Anzac Day, Saturday night. We'll get across Friday and enjoy the scenery, and then into it Saturday night, which should be good.
Good effort. Go and enjoy it.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Well done, Baz.
He's done well.
He has. 7 goals, 3 for Jared Ruffhead.
All the stars of today, though, and that's what you'd expect. They love getting over to Baz and having a chat after the game. The big full forward, he loves speaking to the big other forwards in the comp as well, and that's why Jared Ruffhead, you can see the respect between the two of them there. 7 goals, 3 this afternoon. Just outstanding. And there's Luke Beveridge just having a quick chat initially to the group. And in some ways, the club as a whole, because everyone's involved there, all the support staff are in and around as well. So maybe a message to the players, but a message to the club as well as a collective.
And when a team starts as well as the Bulldogs have, it does get contagious around the club, full of optimism, but
no doubt,
a young team, this is going to happen. It's just part of the journey, I guess.
That's it, but they were smashed in all facets of the game today. Disposals, tackles, uncontested, contested, everywhere you look. It was a domination by this mighty Hawthorn side.
All right, they'll sing the song after their 70-point win. So the Hawks win 19-13-127 to the Western Bulldogs, 8-9-57. Jared Ruffhead, Luke Hodge, Jordan Lewis. It's a long list of Hawthorn stars, and they're all on display today here in Tassie. Back with more in just a moment.